Hello, hello, and welcome back to Shadow Space.
Thank you, it's good to be here.
Today we're going to be doing Barbra's solo session, as last time the party was split. But real quick, in regards to addressing that, also hello Sheebs, welcome to the chat. So, Barbra has a few extra star points, partially because I had to keep delaying this session on them, and one of them is because I said I'm gonna throw some star points at you, and then Tristan said, ouch, you threw them at me, and that made me laugh.
Yeah. Hi! I'm Tristan. I'm playing the voice of Barbra.
Oh, yeah. The only player here today. It is worth noting that we are doing this in the group's public voice chat, and I threw a message at everyone and told them that if they want, they can sit in, so we may randomly have the other players pop in and start to wisecrack jokes.
Yeah.
Or
give you ideas on how to kill me.
To quickly recap where we left off, and real quick to the YouTube crowd. Sorry this episode's coming out a week late. I had to keep delaying the session because of issues on my end. So instead of coming out when it's supposed to, this one's coming out a week late. But the next episode is still going to be coming out on its original scheduled time, which, just for context to people watching on YouTube so they know, hold on, I'm getting up my calendar. The next episode is going to be releasing on the... Hold on. Calendar, please work with me.
The Pink House.
The next episode is going to be releasing on the this episode's coming out the 24th of January, and the next episode is releasing on the... Oh god, come on. Why is my calendar lagging? Oh, I know what the issue is. Hang on. The next episode after this one is coming out on the 7th of February, and then after that we're going to return to our tri-weekly release schedule. You know, one episode every 3 weeks. So, you're getting this episode late, but that just means 2 episodes are coming out closer together. Yay!
Yay. I don't know what the Pink House is, but I'm sure Barbra would enjoy it.
If you go over to the Gas Network Discord... Books and Smiles has been playing a lot of House Flipper and posting pictures of their home. In a previous recording session, which I don't think has gone up on... Those episodes haven't gone up on YouTube yet. But I forget what game I was playing. Oh, it was Fallout New Vegas. We look a lot at pictures of the house while I'm playing Fallout New Vegas. So, I believe it's under... Some of them are in the Ulrich Talk category, and some of them are in Books and Smiles section, where they made a House Flipper screenshots chat. They've made a very, very pink dollhouse-looking house that is very Barbra-y. I remember even when I made a comment that Barbra would like them. Like the house.
Okay. Oh, these are the interiors.
Which, by the way, people, go check out the Discord server, linked down below. Not only can you see stuff relating to me and my other streaming friends, but you can also get the rules to this system. Swiggity swag, you can vote on what games I play in the future.
Oh, isn't it just darling? It's like a dream house.
A Barbra dream house.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard it, but I patted on my lap and clapped to do like the rimshaw sound effect, like dun-dun.
Oh.
I'm drinking this lava cake latte, and it is delicious. All right, so
that does sound amazing.
Yes. Now to recap what happened last session, going into this one. Last time, the group had returned to, after having finished their business in the town of Bibble, which is the red circle, they went to the blue circle of New Athens. And the group is split between, there are 2 main quests, like personal goals the group is trying to achieve currently. Goal number 1, Barbra's personal goal, is to help the homunculi that they saved from a nearby space station to gain rights as a person by genetically altering their code to be similar enough to a human that they deserve rights. It has been determined that this can be done by taking them to the mountain at the center of the map, where there is a shadow-touched individual who has the capability of altering genetic code. Shadow touch being the people who have been directly exposed to dark matter radiation, giving them quantumly entangled powers. The other goal going on is that same person who is going to help the homunculi has also made a request of the group to deliver 3 ferromagnetic stones that they are psychically connected to 3 of the cities on the map, the ones marked with the blue or with the black stars, in order to help extend their psychic field so that they can remove a raging radiation storm over the purple city on the map and send their followers to that city to gain access to research that was going on there that may be able to lead to the betterment and extension of human life. So a lot going on there. The party has decided the best way to deal with this will be to split the party, with a majority of the group traveling through the abandoned metro systems marked by the black outline, or the black lines connecting the cities. They're traveling through the metro system because the actual surface of the planet is horribly irradiated. But they are traveling through there to get to the next city over. Which I don't have the name of it in front of me right now, and I don't feel like digging through my notes. But they're going there to deliver the next stone. Meanwhile, Barbra is going with their NPC friend, T-Dog, who was formerly the most favorited member of the homunculi army, who had gotten separated from the party and was one of the and alongside Hopper had met the shadow-touched individual who goes by the name of what was their name?
Oh God!
I just had it in my head. It's the same Darwin. Oh,
I see.
The man's name is Darwin.
I was gonna say something biblical, probably, but
kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Darwin was the one who had altered the homunculi's DNA at the time, having been named Trampy by Barbra, making them more human, therefore entitling them to human rights in this horrible dystopian society. And they have chosen to rename themselves T-Dog. And in appearance, T-Dog is about 8 feet tall, with bronzed, very tan skin, their body covered in a layer of silvery white fur, giving them an appearance similar to, I would describe, the closest description I can give is an appearance similar to a Planet of the Apes ape from the, classic Planet of the Apes, with him wearing a full-body black jumpsuit with gold trim that is regularly zipped down so far down that the zipper's just above the belly button, showing off his broad, hairy chest.
I think I'm in love.
Barbra has Barbra has rented a large transportation ship and had all of the other homunculi go into a hibernetic cold storage inside of a large shipping crate hooked up to the transport ship, and is going to be flying out of New Athens to the mountain in order to deliver the homunculi there in order to help them get human rights. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
I can't think of anything.
With that, we're caught up to what's happening now, and all of the homunculi have entered re-entered the sleep pods that they had been released from previously, now that you bought the sleep pod container back from Julius, the man who runs New Athens City. After you
that's where most of the money went.
After you spent the night sleeping with him in order to convince him to give you what was it for? To convince him to give you your ship back early, correct?
Yeah.
So I should go over that. the group had left their ship in a parking garage that had a fee, and then left for several weeks, and came back to find out the fee was lots and lots and lots of money, which the group could just about afford with a large amount of money they had stolen previously from a criminal organization. But they were able to kind of deal with him that if they can get rid of a unionist movement present within New Athens, that they can have their ship back free of charge. And Barbra slept with him to convince him to let her have her ship back early.
Let's be clear, there wasn't much sleeping involved.
To get her ship back early, but he still expects you guys to stop the Union in their town. Meanwhile, both you and the others are leaving the city now.
Yeah.
So they left in your ship, and you are leaving in the rented out transport truck style ship.
Yeah.
Which you are then expected to return this ship to New Athens. Or to another city where they have a, it's basically a intergalactic equivalent to U-Haul. So you just have to return the ship to one of their locations within the amount of allotted time that you rented this for.
Do you know how much time that is?
We are very vague with time intentionally. People don't use normal, time is not tracked normally because we are in deep space, so things like years, hours, and months are meaningless with Earth having become a lost colony. People don't know where Earth is anymore.
Well, last time we lost track of time, though, I ended up having to play Naked Twister with Son Holo's, or Julius's, harem.
Son Holo. But yeah, you have it for a few cycles. You're allowed to have this for a couple of cycles.
Okay.
I gotta more firmly write down exactly what the time frames are, just so we're clearer on things with everybody. But anyway.
So yeah, where are we opening up right now?
Yes. As we open up, you have just finished getting the last one of the homunculi super soldiers into their cryopods. The figures being an astounding 8 foot tall with pale, patchy skin. I say patchy in that there are patches missing from their skin. All of them being incredibly buff with a Ken doll-esque physique, aside from a pair of large testicles that hang between their legs. That, according to research notes you read, were there to give them an increased amount of testosterone, so that they would be stronger. They will easily survive within the cryogenic stasis due to their improved metabolism over most beings. Trampy pats the container as he pushes his friend in, hoping that this will be the last time his brethren will be forced into a cryogenic stasis.
So I like to it's been a little bit since I watched the Hopper one-off, but did at any point was Darwin like, I can do something about those massive testicles of yours? And was T-Dog just like, what for?
The testicles did not come up at the time.
Well, no, they most certainly didn't come up. They stayed down.
T-Dog was in the process of dying of radiation poisoning, so he wasn't doing a lot of talking. Also, he couldn't speak English at the time.
Beggars can't be choosers. He felt that it would be impolite to even bring it up.
Or, not English, Galactic Common, which is a indistinguishable combination of languages from Earth that are distinct and different from ours because it's so far in the distant future. But
Universal Translator.
There aren't universal translators because there's just a singular universal language that was established by the people who left Earth.
I see. I guess that's less of a bullshit reason. So
it's more or less like it's similar to like Esperanto or Pig Latin in that it's a universal language that was specifically created by the galactic corporations as they reached out into space in order to facilitate trade with greater ease. So, in all of everybody's headspace, keep in mind the fact that in technicality nobody's speaking English, but some weird future language that would be incomprehensible to us.
Yeah.
But similar to how in Tolkien's novels, where nobody's speaking English, he just translated the most common language in their universe into our English.
I basically just assume that's the reason for like Star Wars and everything like that. You know, it's for the audience.
Have you ever heard the fan theory that there actually aren't humans in Star Wars?
No, I've always assumed that, except people keep calling them humans. So
yeah,
let's just move on.
The fun fan theory is that what we are seeing is a operatic reenactment of actions that occurred in their world, in which human actors are being used to replace what was actually an insectoid alien race. The reason they say that the humans were actually an insectoid race is because there's this weird tendency that wherever we look in the galaxy of Star Wars, it is always queens and empresses running nations and planets, always commanding large numbers of male subordinates. It's a weird, neat theory. I don't believe it. Star Wars is all bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So where are we actually opening up the scene?
Well, like I said, T-Dog patted the tank as he slid it into the container, and then he turns to, he's like, all right, let's get this puppy in the sky. Do you know how to pilot this?
Oh, great.
You're one of the few people with
pilot. We had all this time.
No, you have pilot training. It's you and Max are the only members of the group who know how to fly a ship, so Max is flying your ship right now.
Yeah.
I love
Anyway,
don't
think about that.
Oh no, Seth,
what's on the radio?
Seth can pilot a ship as well. Never mind. I think Seth might be the one piloting it. You turn on the radio. The
first cut is the deepest.
I was making
Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest.
I was making a joke that it was gonna be Chiquita. And I was gonna have T-Dog say, I love singing this song at karaoke night.
T-Dog, what are you talking about? You've never been to karaoke night.
I mean, I'd like to think I would sing it if I went to one. The joke is that the whole song only has a single line in it.
Oh. I'll give you a star point.
Chiquita! That's the only word in the entire song. Anyway, it's also my favorite song. My favorite moment in Baby Driver is the moment when they use that song.
That's nice.
Sorry, I'm sidetracking myself hard.
So, right.
Autism! So, you get aboard the ship, and you and him begin to fly. Do you want to make any small talk with T-Dog?
I'm just gonna assume that whole thing was small talk while we were driving.
That whole conversation was that it turns out T-Dog has seen Baby Driver. He's like...
It's one of the classics.
He has your flying...
But copyright law has been so crazy that it only just entered the public domain.
Public domain? That doesn't exist anymore. Things are owned into perpetuity, including people.
An underground corporate group stole it and put it in the public domain. I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, has your flying... You know, you guys, you leave the city and are flying through the radioactive atmosphere of the planet. And, T-Dog seems thoughtful for a moment. He's like, hey, Barbra.
Yeah?
Why didn't you kill us back aboard that starship when we were attacking you guys? You had no reason to treat us different, or treat us like people. By all standards, we were just experimented on animals.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, we were fighting, and I was trying to kill you at some point, but it really wasn't until like it, I think it was when you started talking in your own language to some of your other, you know, some of your friends that I realized that, you could be communicated with.
Well, thanks for giving me and my brothers a chance. It's...
I reach over and I like touch his hand. I said, I think everyone deserves a chance.
He smiles.
I mean, nobody's, completely evil, right?
I suppose not. And that's when you're going to start to detect movement on your ship's like radar system, that there's another ship flying nearby. And you sort of turn to look to be like, hang on, what ship's flying nearby? You don't want to hit them. You want to make sure there's no issue. And what were you going to say?
I said I adjust my mirrors to see who it is.
And that's when you see the ship and you recognize its design and the logo on the side of it. It's a type of ship you haven't seen for a long time. And with that, we are going to begin to flash back.
Oh.
It is a number of years ago. A younger Barbra, in her, late teens, like in her early adulthood years. What was the name of the location where you grew up again?
I don't know. Some rich, I don't know. Some planet. I don't know.
The facility, the academy. What was it?
Oh,
we just talked about it the other night too. It exists somewhere in some notes somewhere.
I don't know if I ever gave a name to it.
Excuse me, did it not get a name? All right. Well, you know what? You can name it now if you'd like.
Let's see. Oh gosh.
Since it's a very important location.
Margot's home for the psychologically challenged.
All right. Margot's home for the so we cut to Margot's home for the psychologically challenged. A multi-story tall, multi-winged building. You have never actually seen the outside of this building because you were, when you were brought here, it was inside of a ship where the room you were in, you had no windows, and you just were here in the facility. And as we open up, a younger, black-haired Barbra is walking through the halls in her pure white jumpsuit. You have both of your hands, but your eyes are still that piercing yellow look. Have that piercing yellow appearance. As you are, so we see elements of your daily life playing out. You wake up in your room, a bare, empty white room with nothing but a bed, like a soft bed for you to sleep in. You are awoken by the sound of a buzzer, and almost as if in a trance, you get up from your bed, make your way out, and are marching down the halls. You are surrounded by similar-looking young women, all with long black hair, all with yellow, piercing, animalistic eyes. As you make your way through, you all arrive in a large mess hall, where you're served a watery, gruel-like food through that comes out of a tube onto trays. The food is just solid enough to constitute being a food rather than some sort of soup, giving it an almost gelatinous-like feel. It contains all of the nutrients you will need for the day, one meal every day. You take your seat along with the others, and everyone begins to eat, all keeping their heads down, nobody talking. You glance up to the side. You can see the cameras watching you. Hanging off the bottom of them, the laser cannons that will fire upon anybody who is caught to be breaking rules. Silence isn't necessarily a rule, but it's something that people have fallen into because it's safer than talking and risking breaking a rule by mistake. As you eat, you shift nervously. You look at the band on your hand, or on your wrist. A metal cufflink. On it is a number. Or like a serial code, I should say. 8A7. 8A7. Sorry, 8A7. 8A7A. You look at it for a long moment. That is your name. 8A7, 8A7A.
Oh my god.
Just then, 8A6 sits down next to you. She nods. Hey, 7. So yours is 8A7, 8A7A. Her code is 8A7, 8A8A. So very, very close to yours with just a single digit. The last 8 replaced with or the last 7 replaced with an 8 for them.
My 8.
They begin to eat their gruel. There's a tension. Both of you know that you don't want to be here. You've talked about it in the past. The two of you have begun to bond, but have tried to keep it unclear that you are. You don't know what will happen if the doctors realize that you're getting close to each other. A moment of silence passes as the two of you eat, and then the alarm blares again, and everybody gets up, taking their trays and putting them through a thin slot in the wall, before moving on into the communal area. This place has always been an area that is intended for what relative amount of free time and joy are all allowed. It's consistent of 2 spaces. A large open room filled with various board games, puzzles, and workout equipment, and an adjacent room that is a indoor garden space where more sport-like activity and interaction with the plants and gardening can occur. All of the others begin to walk around, filing themselves towards the various games or activities they wish to do. You'll be spending most of your day here, just like you do every day, unless you're pulled aside by the doctors for testing and examination. But, of course, as you enter, before you can go into the room, you have to go by another dispenser, one that dispenses pills. The others all take their pills, swallow them, and carry on. You throw them back into your mouth, or keep them tucked into your cheek, like you've been doing for some time. You began doing this because 8 had encouraged you to. She told you that the pills were doing something to you. And sure enough, you've realized that they definitely were. You think back to when you were taking them. The place seemed so much more colorful then. The walls were bright pastel pink. The doctors always seem to be smiling and friendly, and you don't even remember seeing the cameras until you stopped taking the medication. Now, everything seems cold and sterile. The doctor's always angry. You sometimes find yourself questioning which one was the reality and which one was the fiction. But you prefer to think that the reality is the one where you're not taking the medication.
It's also the reality where I can still feel the pain.
The reality where you can remember how you got here.
Yeah. I mean, the physical pain as well. Like,
Yes.
I imagine this is pretty recent after the operation.
You receive operations fairly frequently. If the doctors pull you aside, it's usually to inject you with things and cut you open. Or put you through some other form of, physical rigorous testing or mental testing. You don't know a lot of what's going on here, but you do remember that hearing the term when you were very young. Splicers. People who were being genetically altered. You remember your parents having disdain for them. But now, here you are. For a brief moment, you catch your reflection in a smooth surface, the yellow of your eyes standing out. They still feel sore from the last injection you got into your tear ducts. Or was it into the tear ducts? Or did they just reach through the tear ducts to get to something else? You're not sure. So, what do you wish to do? You're currently in the free zone. 8 has gone off to the side and is working on, or is just sat at a table where there's some little puzzles and stuff set up. A number of others are all going in, just mindlessly engaging with various bits of activity. Some of them are physically working out. Some of them are doing little they're various little brain teasery type puzzles, like memory card matching, or that thing where you have to move hoops around poles, but you can't put the large hoops on the smaller ones. Things like that.
Yeah.
You glance to the side and you recognize one of the others, a serial number vastly different from yours, that you and 8 have taken to calling B34. She's doing one of those ring puzzles right now. One that she's been doing on and off for, you assume what must be days now. It's hard to track the time when you can't see the outside. You just go off of when they put you to sleep and wake you up. Maybe even months. It's one of those ring puzzles consisting of five poles and 48 individual rings. She's been working at it, trying to move them all from one side to the other. Everybody finds their own ways to preoccupy their time here.
I try to find something that it's like some kind of, I don't know, it helps me memorize how to take something apart and then put it back together. I mean, obviously they don't let us keep weapons.
But there
here,
would definitely be puzzles that are puzzles you can assemble, 4D or 3D puzzles you can assemble and disassemble, and puzzle box type things.
Yeah.
You go and start working on one of those, chipping away at doing the puzzle for a while. And as you're working at it, after a little bit, 8 gets up from the table she's at, and she begins to walk carrying the puzzle that she was working on. As she walks past you, she stumbles and trips, dropping the puzzle as it breaks into pieces. She immediately begins apologizing and picking it up, and you, recognizing this pattern, get down and start to help her pick it up. You begin to try and look around. looking for the puzzle piece that has the color pink on it. This is a regular pattern, a subtle way of communication that you two have found that you can get away with. After a moment, you find it, and subtly slip it up your sleeve as you hand her the other hand her the other pieces and help her get it together. She thanks you and with a sigh goes to a nearby table to attempt to continue reassembling to reassemble the 3D puzzle she had just dropped. The day continues on. At a certain point, you move over to start doing, some physical testing, working out and such. And then as the night wears on, eventually, buzzer goes off and everybody begins to make their way to their rooms, taking another set of medication. You do the same thing you did last time, tucking it into your cheek, right alongside the ones from earlier today. Eventually, when you get to your room, you go into the bathroom, begin to shower, and very subtly and carefully remove the pills from your mouth and send them down the drain. You need to be careful, because even in here, there's the cameras. You then return to your room, getting underneath the covers. You carefully pull aside part of your mattress, looking at the collection of other puzzle pieces you've collected, and trying to figure out where this one fits in with the others for your continued message. The two of you have been working on this for months. Hope at an escape plan. Little pieces of information that you're able to pick up on. You've been communicating with each other. Details that you can hear about the rest of, or layouts of the rest of the facility that you're able to learn when you're taken out of the rec area to go for testing. Details of information about what the staff do that you hear in murmured conversations in the halls. The doctors, while they try and watch themselves around all of you and not say too much, also aren't exactly careful to hide details, as far as they're concerned, you're all heavily medicated. The two of you have been working on this escape plan for months. As you look over the latest details of information she passed to you and the pieces of information you had just passed to her when you two bumped into each other, you start to realize the day may finally be coming. The two of you may just be able to escape tomorrow as you're taken off for testing. There's a pattern to it, and the two of you are always taken to testing on the same day. Today is the day that you will get your freedom. Either that, or you will die.
Both options at this point seem better than just continuing.
We flash back to the present. You recognize the logo on the side of the ship that flies. It's a sleek ship, shaped similar to a large rifle bullet with its full cartridge. You recognize this design as being a ship made by the Trojan Corporation, one that is intended for private security purposes. The logo on the side is the logo of excuse me. The logo on the side is the logo of the company that you had been with. What did we just call the facility a moment ago? I didn't write it down.
Margot's Institute of the Psychologically Damaged or Challenged or something like that.
Hang on. I just got a message I gotta respond to. Sorry. One of my housemates is picking up dinner and they were asking what I would want.
Well, what do you want?
They're stopping at Wendy's, so I'm gonna get the Asiago chicken sandwich meal. When I go in myself, I get more obnoxious orders, but when somebody else is ordering for me, I keep it as simple as I can.
That's good.
Normally, because I've been working at a Wendy's, so I eat a lot of Wendy's. So I've been trying to make my Wendy's orders less healthy by customizing them to basically make them into mildly unhealthy salads. I'll usually get a chicken sandwich without any bread and like extra lettuce and extra tomato and a little bit of pickles added in, and I'll remove certain ingredients from it so it'll just be salad and chicken by the end of it. But when it's somebody else is picking up, I'm just like, yeah, just give me a chicken sandwich. I don't want to have to make you give a whole absurd order. Fun fact, I'm gonna be quitting my Wendy's job soon. I think this is the first time I'm talking about it in a recording session. I'm working at a trampoline park again. Woo! That may have an effect on my streaming schedule soon. If anything, it'll probably mean I'll stream more frequently, so look forward to that if it's the case. Woo! It all depends on how my work schedule works out, but I'm pretty sure I'll be streaming more frequently because I won't be working till 2 a.m. anymore. So it'll be late night streams, but it will be streaming more frequently. Anyway. Sorry, just sipping at my drink. Words. Words. As you... Words.
I recognize the truck.
Yeah, or you recognize the ship. It has... sorry, what did we just call the name of the institute?
The Margot Institute for the psychologically challenged.
You recognize the symbol on the side of the ship is for the Margot Corporation. Is a symbol of the Margot Corporation. A steely white M that at the bottom of the M the lines extend out, giving it a vibe similar to a heart monitor going off. It's a symbol that brings you unease seeing it for the first time in, well, for the first time in a while. And it's it's flying nearby. It's flying toward you. And comm channels are, it seems though it's attempting to open comms with you.
My knuckles turn white and I start to like shake and like have trouble breathing. No. It's not. How did they find?
Hey, Barbara, you alright?
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
What?
And like I it gets to the point where I can't even drive anymore.
And luckily like, you're in a ship high in the air, so you're not gonna crash suddenly.
I might.
But the ship starts to like get shaky, essentially, flying uneven. Yeah. Hey, Barbara, are you all right? What's, T-Dog sort of grabbing your shoulder and trying to shake you a little.
I start to feel pain in my eyes again.
I don't know if ships are supposed to fly like this.
Just get me out of here. Get me out. Get me out now. Get me out.
He's immediately like looking like nervous, not knowing what to do. As he looks, he sees that the other ship is trying to hail you guys. And he hesitates for a moment, looking at the thing to answer the communication, and then he looks at you, he's like, Barbara, what's wrong? And he's gonna sort of lightly grab your shoulders and like turn you to face directly toward him, basically having you let go of the controls of the ship for a moment. And you end up you look T-Dog right in the eyes for a brief moment.
Don't let them take me. Don't let them take me back. Please, T-Dog.
Barbara, it's all right. What? Take you back where?
At some point, I'm able to center myself enough to like hear the comm thing, and my robotic arm like cycles through like a bunch of the weaponry. Mm-hmm. And like the hook to the point where I just like pick one and just like start stabbing like the communication console.
Barbara, what are you... he clearly looks confused and worried about your erratic behavior. What's going on? What are you doing?
We're getting out of here. And I pull myself together enough to start piloting, and I start taking like evasive maneuvers.
All right. As you begin to speed up, the other ship clearly takes note of the fact that you're not accepting the hail and begins to pursue you. What is your intended destination or plan of flight? This ship does not have any weaponry on it.
Well, that saves me from asking.
Because
Barbara's
this is
thinking.
literally just a cargo ship that you rented.
Barbara's thinking, wondering several ideas are going past, like from just running to turning around and ramming the ship into the other one, to oh, then she gets it. T-Dog, I'm gonna need you to take over.
What? I can't fly.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah, basically.
Look, it's easy. It's easy. This button keeps it in the air, and this makes you go left, right, up, down. Mark.
I don't know how much we've really discussed the details of how ships work in this world, so I'm gonna give a quick lore technological breakdown for you. So,
all right.
Ships don't fly with rocket propulsion, but they fly via gravity bending using dark matter energy in their generator. This same dark matter is used to generate the artificial gravity aboard a ship. As a result, the way a ship flies isn't so much flight as falling through space. So from the inside of the ship, the way that it feels is that your ship is constantly moving upward. So any pilot type ships are a reclined ship where you're laying back looking at a skylight. You know? So generally speaking, when all ships are laid out to be like a small multi-leveled structure, with the top of it being a skylight that is the cockpit window looking out into space, you know? If that makes sense. And then generally when a ship lands, it's landing in something that has its own gravity, so as they land and begin to deactivate, they stop relying on their own artificial gravity and rely on the gravity of whatever system they're landing into. Some ships then land more or less the equivalent of sideways from the interior perspective, while some do land in a standing position, with the layout of the ship being different depending on how it's intended to land. So for example, your Roach-class ship, while it flies in the upright position with you falling through space, when you land, it turns to land horizontally, so on the ship, one of the walls is also designed to be a floor, depending on what state you are having the ship in. Oh. It makes sense?
Yeah, I think so. So the ship, whether it's an atmosphere or not, still has its own internal gravity?
Yeah, so long as it's online and flying, is operating on its own internal gravity. So the Roach ship is designed in a very unique way compared to other ships, whereas this ship, because it's just a long-haul ship, is a singular room that looks upward at all times.
It's a singular room that looks upward at all times.
If this truck were landing, it would be landing so that the skylight, or so that the pilot's window looked toward the sky. But then when it flies up a little and then turns sideways, but the gravity keeps it so that it feels like you're looking up, if that makes sense. Hang on.
So the window's not at the cockpit?
The window, so hang on, let me try and, draw this real fast.
Okay,
so like...
does it, okay, well, does this ship have a cargo?
Yes, so hang on. I'm gonna draw the shape of the ship you're in right now. So this ship has a
Okay.
very simple shape. It's like basically a big old rectangle-y type shape. Right?
Right.
So when it is landed, you're watching the Twitch stream, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you're gonna have you're probably watching at a slight delay compared to how we're talking, obviously.
Okay. The way you're describing it makes it sound like a big pill bottle.
So when the ship is landed, it is positioned more or less like this. I'm gonna give it a moment because I have the stream open on the side window so I can see what the delay looks like for you.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's pretty much done being drawn on the stream. So it's landed like that, with a door on the side and a big skylight, and the cargo you have being attached to an arm coming out, like, that arm would be coming out the opposite end of where the door is. It's just because this is 2D, I had to draw it the way I did. So that thing on the side is the cargo, and it would be, like, behind from our perspective, but I drew it coming out the side, you know?
Okay, and when it's flying...
When you walk into the ship, there is a couple of seats, like about 4 seats lined up that are basically a bed you get down in, and all of the controls are around it, and all 4 of these chairs have steering mechanisms, so you can have multiple pilots all ready to go. And then when the ship takes off, what happens is, I'm going to describe what I do and then do it because of the way the stream delay works. It will fly up. And then the front of the ship will turn. And so I'm gonna draw that now.
Okay.
It'll fly up a little bit. And then the cargo will... Hang on.
That seems needlessly complicated.
The cargo will shift position so that rather than being next to it, it is hanging from the bottom. And then the whole ship will turn and begin flying through space like this. But from an so yeah, hang on, I can see where the stream is now. So yeah, it starts flying, going left and right, you know?
Okay.
But from the inside, what that feels like due to its artificial gravity field is that it is like this upright position the whole time. Or it's in an upright position the whole time, and it feels like the ship is just constantly ascending, is how it feels to you.
Okay,
Makes
so I
sense?
guess I jump. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think it makes sense logically, but it's your world, so
it's
you
the
can do
way
whatever
ships
the fuck you
operate,
want.
because they operate off of gravity manipulation in a weird way, so every ship is constantly falling upward, with the same force that pushes it upward being the force that creates artificial gravity that keeps you grounded. So your ground is always in the opposite direction that the ship flies in on all starships, unless they have an incredibly unique design. You know?
Okay.
So the ground is always, or the gravitational force on all ships is in the opposite direction of where it flies. The Roach operates on a slightly more unique design that I will go over later on when the Roach is more relevant to you.
Well, okay. Regardless of whatever way is up, I basically just leave him the steering.
Yeah, you more or less tell him, and like the actual fundamentals of just steering a ship that has already taken off is very simple. It's basically just a pilot stick. Like, so the ship would, when you're laying in the position on the control seat, the steering stick raises up between the legs of the pilot. So you're in a sort of like, basically like, you're in a reclined chair. I'm actually getting in the position as I describe it. And a control rod is raised up between your 2 legs that sit slightly spread apart by the shape of the ship. So you're sat up holding a steering stick in between your legs. And the ship is constantly moving upward from your perspective. And you are tilting the stick, and whatever direction you tilt the ship in, or the stick in, the whole ship tilts in that direction. So actually flying a ship once it's taken off is very easy. The actual hard part that requires you to have some degree of piloting skills are things like taking off stably, because every single ship has a slightly unique taking off mechanism that are all similar but a little different depending on the design of the ship. And doing evasive maneuvers, because the more you move the stick, the faster it turns. And the ships, to prevent overturning from happening too easily, the sticks are designed with a feedback mechanism so that the harder you turn, the more the stick pushes back against you to try and re-stabilize the ship.
Okay.
So it means that, like, actually flying a ship for a newbie feels counterintuitive in a way, but it's all in a way to create a weird safety mechanism in ship design.
All right. Alright.
Remember
when I said
he's gonna struggle, but he'll be flying the ship in a very jerky fashion. But all he has to do is stop it from crashing into the ground. So he shouldn't have too hard of a time keeping it in the air.
Okay, actually, change of plan, T-Dog. Keep it steady.
All right. So you give it to him, and in the case of being in an atmosphere like this, there is an element of you have to constantly fight against the gravity of the planet you're on.
Yeah.
Which
also I just
you explained to him very quickly how to do.
Are there like gas masks on board? Or
I will say
Radix.
while the ship would not have something like that on board, I will say for 2 star points, it does have a very rudimentary space survival suit.
All right, take him.
All right. So in the case, to describe this real quick, so the jumpsuit you wear, I should mention, like, these jumpsuits are, T-Dog has a similar jumpsuit now. This has become sort of a universal outfit design in the world of Shadow Space, if that makes sense. In that, like,
the one I'm wearing?
Yeah. All jumpsuits have the same fundamental design, with there just being aesthetic differences. In your case, your suit is, all pink. And has the sleeve isn't just rolled up, but is integrated into your robotic arm, because you did that on purpose, because these jumpsuits are fully intended to be safe for spacewalking. All you have to do is add on a glove and a helmet. Hang on. Words. So yeah, like all spacesuit, almost all jumpsuits in this universe are designed by a singular clothing brand. I say clothing brand, it's a company that makes spacesuits. And anybody who, does any kind of work that has them going off planets, like you as a space scout, generally gets this kind of jumpsuit. Or anybody who's working on a space station will get this jumpsuit assigned to them by their bosses. Because, in a pinch, all you have to do is quickly grab a mask and boom, or a helmet, and boom, you're safe in space. In fact, I'd even say you don't even need to grab a glove. We're just gonna go ahead and say that there's a glove integrated into the sleeve of your suit that you just have removed temporarily, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you quickly get on your black glove, and you grab one of the space helmets, which you put it on, and it's, in the case of the one that's aboard this ship, it is like there's different designs that are all designed to be compatible with these suits. The one on this ship is a small, gas mask type apparatus that just goes over your mouth. And then you tighten a strap around your neck that, connects with the suit to form a tight seal with the jumpsuit. And then you hit a button on the mask, and it uses, shield technology to more or less create a very light force field around your head. That force field won't protect from any kind of blaster fire, but protects you from the vacuum of space, and in this case, the radiation of the atmosphere.
Okay. So,
I enjoy talking about the technology in my setting, apologies.
I can tell. I mean, it's cool, but Barbra goes to the airlock, or the decontamination chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And She basically opens the cargo door.
In the case of this ship, what it is coming off of one side, there's a door that you open it and step into a room that is literally 1 foot thick. Like a 1 foot wide space, 1 foot by 3 foot space, where you are sandwiched between two doors. It's a tiny, tiny space efficient airlock, you know?
Yep.
And that is where the mask actually is kept. So, you know, you open the door, step into the tiny airlock, close the door, unplug the mask from the wall because it's plugged in so that it can be charging its force field on the spaceship's generator. Put on the spacesuit, and then you're gonna open the external door.
Yep.
And as soon as the external door opens, you can feel the whipping air and like coming in. And looking at the position of the ship, you realize that you are, like, in correlation to the planet, you are standing on the side of your ship. Meaning the moment you step out of this airlock and are no longer subject to the artificial gravity, you will fall down off your ship. So, like...
Well...
Hang on, I'm
well,
gonna...
in with how fast we're going, wouldn't I, like... Wouldn't I be able to, like... grab the canister that's like that we're trailing behind us?
Yes. So I'm drawing a thing. The loose curve down below is just to represent the fact that the planet is down below, and the ship is more or less flying like the way it is arranged here. Once the curve is drawn, you'll see what I mean. So yeah, if you were to step out, you would initially go flying back towards the cargo, and then once you lose that momentum of falling off the ship and using the ship's gravity for a moment, you would fall down towards the planet. And you are like at plane height, so it would not be good for you.
I can roll for grabbing onto the
yes, you could go and grab onto the shipping crate full of cryopods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I assume that's what you're gonna try and do?
Yep.
Alright, oh, I do not have a dice roller open. I have not had one open. Give me just a second and I'll get that open.
Yep.
Ba-ba-bum. So, I'm gonna call this an athletics type check of difficulty 3.
Oh gosh.
So by default you roll 5 dice. Do you have any skills that you think would be applicable to this? I assume you're looking at your skill list currently.
Yep. I have Super Soldier, which says performing any physical actions, dice burst 1 point lower.
So, dice are going to burst on 10s and 9s. That's going to help. It doesn't add extra dice, but it does mean you're more likely to get critical successes. Or bursting successes, I should say. And more likely to get bursting successes means you're more likely to get exploding successes.
The adrenaline doesn't help me because I haven't been attacked yet.
Again, for those curious about the rules, you can find all of the rules in the Discord linked down below in order to understand the terminology I use. They're the basic rules of the system, so while they don't go over all of the fundamental little details of Shadow Space in particular, they'll give you enough of an idea to know what's going on when I do skill checks.
Yeah, it's basically going to be...
Just the 5 dice?
Yeah.
Do you want to spend any star points?
Not yet. I'm saving that.
Alright, so, you got 2 successes, or no, you got 1 success, a bursting success, and a crashing failure. The bursting success burst into an additional success, giving you 3 successes total, minus 1 from the crashing failure, bringing you to 2, 1 point shy of passing, but for a star point you can remove the crashing failure and pass the check.
Okay.
I assume that's what you're gonna do, rather than go hurtling into space?
Yes.
I would say, you do have I will quickly say, you do have 2 actions per turn, So, what I would allow you to do if you fail this check is use your second action to make a saving throw to try and catch the thing again, to attempt a second time. Or you can spend the star point to land this on your first action, and then perform another action, which I assume is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you look down, assess the situation, and you leap from the door of your ship, shooting the grapple hook mechanic of your hand out, grabbing the bottom of your ship to swing, and stand on the, underneath the ship part on the side/top of the cryopod. Like, you stood on the cryopod shipping container on that little space between the ship and it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
With the
and I forget, does Barb have mag boots?
Is it in your inventory? That is actually worth noting, because if you have that, this check actually would have been not necessary. I don't think you ever picked any up.
It doesn't say, but I thought I remembered, like, one of our earlier sessions, I thought I had them.
I think you got some temporarily. When you were aboard the Lazarus, they had given you some for what you were doing there, because remember how they gave you their combat armor?
Okay.
Their combat armor had the mag boots, and when you returned that armor, you lost those boots. So currently the only team member with mag boots is Hopper, because she has them built into her android feet.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she has an incredibly advanced form of mag boots that are far more advanced than anyone else in the world that let her fly.
Well, now I know what to do for my next level up, whenever that is.
Well,
I'm sure I won't forget.
Yeah, you would be able to buy them next time you're in a town, because Shadow Space is unique in a setting in that you never an experience. Instead, you have to purchase level ups with money.
Shucks. Okay.
Yeah. It's tallying into the capitalistic themes of the setting. Yay! But so yeah, you leap down, swing over, and so you are being held on that little space on the side of the cryopod via the momentum of the ship now. Think like, you know, in action movies when like somebody's on the front of an airplane and is staying on it just by the momentum of the plane. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm imagining like the first Mission Impossible movie, or that the only memorable scene in Wolverine.
And so the space between the ship and the freight is on my drawing a little bit exaggerated to make the drawing more visible to read. The space between is probably about 4 feet tall, so you're in a very much crouched position. With like not just a single cable connecting, but a couple of large cables keeping it held on and strapped to you very, very well, you know?
Yeah.
So you are on the side, and you can see the other ship is flying after your ship. You still have a second action. Currently, all they are doing is pursuing, so you have a full action before they are even given a chance to react to what you've done here.
Okay. I'm basically going to... I think you already know what I want to do.
Shoot them?
No.
No?
With what would I shoot them with?
Oh, you don't have a gun, do you? You don't have a gun?
It's not in my inventory.
Oh, shit. That's right, because you haven't bought a gun. Every gun you have gotten has been a lend from somebody that you ended up having to give back.
Yeah, or one that I stole off of a corpse.
That you then had to give back to somebody else. That's funny.
Or just, like, ran out of ammo.
Guns, generally speaking, don't run out of ammo because they're... More dumb lore talk.
Yeah, I'll just take your word for it. I don't want to break the momentum of the scene.
Okay, fair.
Despite it being a role-playing game.
So yeah, you are on the side of the, are you in the little space? What do you do as your second action?
I basically climb further down.
Alright. What is it you're intending to do? Why are you climbing down? What is your current goal? I just want to know where you're going with your actions.
I'm going to for my next turn, I'm going to let go and use my grapple hand to, like, catch the side of the ship.
Of the other ship?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to make this I'm going to let you get straight to that point with this second action on this turn.
And I think Greg would appreciate this. What if you miss? I won't.
So, the difficulty of the check, I am gonna call a level... So you're leaping from one flying starship that is moving several kilometers per hour to another flying starship trailing behind, also at a high speed. I'm gonna call this a level 5 check.
Yep, this is the mindset that Barbara's in right now.
Your
and
grappling
I'm going
hook,
to use 3 star points.
Oh yeah, and I will say your grappling hook will also grant an extra die.
Oh, good.
So you're rolling 6 dice by default, and you still want to buy those extra 3?
Make it 2.
Alright, so you're gonna buy 2. So, before the star points are applied... holy shit, hang on. So before the star points were applied, you got... Oh, hang on, that's right, you burst on 9s. Give me a second.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, so, in your initial roll, you got 1 failing die that got put aside, and 4 successes. Or 2 failing dice that were put aside, sorry, because you rolled 6 dice, and then 4 successes. Those 4 successes were a 6, a 10, which would burst, and 2 9s, which burst due to you being a super soldier. Of your 3 bursts you got, all of them were either 9s or 10s. And they all burst, and one of them was another 9.
Fucks.
And then on top of that, both the star points you got were that you spent were successes. So, in the end, you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 successes. Meaning you have achieved a crashing success because you got doubled what you needed. So, I'm gonna say, you know, you exit, swing down onto the side, like, you don't swing down to the narrow space between the 2 ships, and so I'm gonna say you leapt, I'm just gonna say what happened was you leapt straight out the side of the starship you were on, into the atmosphere, shot your grappling hook out and caught the other ship as it flew by overhead. So, like, you fell down away from your ship, began to fall down toward the surface, shot your grappling hook, grabbed the other ship, swing up into it, and you are going to get another action on this turn due to your critical success. What do you do with your 3rd action that you got from your crit?
Well, I don't know if this is a main action, but I'm gonna reel myself in so that...
That is a free action to reel yourself in. So you are now hanging on to the side of the security ship, run by the what was the organization called?
Let's just call it Margot's.
Margot, the Margot organization, right? Or the Margot Corporation. Yeah, the facility was one thing. The corporation as a whole is called the Margot Corporation.
Margot Corp.
Yeah. You're on the side of the Margot Corporation-owned ship. What are you gonna do here with your next action?
I'm going to grab the ship with my other non-robotic hand, and then I'm going to cut into the ship over and over again with my plasma blade.
All right.
In just a savage, screaming, like animalistic frenzy.
Basically trying to get inside the ship.
Bring it down, or just like cut her way inside.
All right. I'm gonna say that if you get to get in with this single action, you will need 5 successes, and if you get 10 successes, you will begin causing the ship to crash. By default, you roll 5 dice plus how many skills apply to it. This is treated as an attack.
Okay.
So
well,
any
there's-
weapon skills get added.
The laser sword deals 10 damage, armor piercing,
All
which
right.
I assume this ship has.
Armor piercing it won't apply to attacking a combat vehicle. The idea is that all melee weapons get armor piercing because you're getting so close that you're able to find the chinks in somebody's armor, because most armor is designed to protect against long-range fire. A starship's armor is an entirely different beast altogether.
Okay, well, swordsmanship probably isn't going to help me here.
Yes, it will.
Oh, okay. So that's 1d. Engineering? My in-depth knowledge of machinery?
I'm gonna say in this specific case, no, because you're basically brute forcing attacking the side of a ship.
Okay.
The engineering would apply to a more careful, calculated action.
Well, I guess it's just one additional die then.
All right. Do you want to spend any star points?
Not for this one.
So you got 1 success and 1 failure. Or 1 crashing fail, I should say. Together leading to 0 successes. So, once you reel yourself in holding the side of the ship, and then with your other hand, your human hand, you grab the side of the ship like in a small nook, and then unlatch your grappling hook, your laser sword coming out, and you just start slashing at the side of this ship, but it's got a very thick hull, so you're not really getting through. That's gonna lead to the end of this turn, and as the next turn begins, the enemy is going to begin trying to do evasive maneuvers to shake you off, meaning you will have to dedicate one of your actions to keeping your grip, otherwise you will fall off after you perform your 2 actions.
And probably die.
Unless T-Dog is able to catch you. Well, you say probably die, you would have a chance the next turn to re-grab on with your grappling hook.
True.
So yeah. So your options here are either successfully get on board the ship before the end of your turn, or dedicate 1 action to trying to hang on to the ship, that 1 action being a level 3 challenge of athleticism.
Is the other one is a level 5 challenge?
Yes, but you would get 2 attempts at the level 5 challenge if you don't do the other one. So you can make two attack attempts on the side of the ship, and if you pass either one of them, you board the ship. But if you fail them, you'll fall to your death. Or you can do an attempt to keep a hold and guarantee that you won't fall off if you pass that one. You know what I mean? And that one's just a level 3 check, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not describing what I mean well.
Okay.
Or
basically, if I try to attack twice, it increases my chances of falling off.
You can also attempt to climb to another part of the ship to look for another avenue of entry, such as the window that will definitely be at the front of the ship, or try and find one of the doors and force the door open, which might be easier. But it would...
Wait, does the enemy know that I've held on?
They saw you go flying by, and they seemingly are aware because they're trying to shake you off.
Okay.
It would not surprise you to know if this kind of ship had sensors to let them know that something had latched on the side, because this is a militarized starship sold by the Trojan Company, who are professional weapon manufacturers.
I try to hold on.
All right, so first action is to keep your grip. Do you have an athleticism skill, or is it just your super soldier trait that applies?
I think it's just my super soldier, but
okay.
My cybernetic hand.
Yeah, if you, I will allow that. Will give you an extra die trying to grip with your cybernetic hand, because it's you would have to fold away your sword.
Okay.
Man, a thing I've been playing very fast and loose with is whether or not it takes an action to draw your sword. And I think I've come to the conclusion that because it's a custom-built robotic arm with the sword built in, I'm just making it a free action for you to draw the blade.
I appreciate that.
Okay, you get 4 successes. One of them bursts into another success, so you got 5 successes. You are easily holding onto the side of this ship.
I could have cut my way in with that.
Yeah. No matter what your next action is, you are staying aboard this ship without falling off. Do you want to try and cut your way in, or do you want to try and look for another avenue of entry?
I'm going to try to look for another avenue of entry.
Do you want to climb up towards the window at the front, or look for a door on the side?
I'm going to try and climb up towards the front. Because in Barbara's state of mind, I think she's more interested in finding out who found her than...
So, using a major action that, does not require any rolling, you climb from where you are up to the front of the ship as it's trying to shake you off. You know, you're like climbing up slowly, and as you come to the window and look through, we cut back to the past. So, back in the past, you know, the next day begins to raise as you and 8 have you believe this will be the day to escape. The plan is that when you are both being taken off to you should both be taken out to getting tested at a similar time. And you've picked up on the fact that there's a pattern to how your testing goes. You know, one day they'll test one thing, the next day they'll test another, the next day they'll test another. If you recall correctly, you are being taken to the firing range today to be trained in gun handling, which will give you a gun. And you have been observing enough to pick up on the fact that while they have changing passcodes every single day, so long as you pay attention when they're taking you into the room, you will know the code to exit the firing range. Just by putting in the code that they put in when they send you in. And theoretically, or I mean, the idea is, I should say, well, you're being taken to that test. 8 should be being taken to a technological engineering test where she's going to be tested with taking things apart and putting them together and stuff and understanding blueprints and designs. And she is fairly certain they are going to have her working on a starship, disassembling and reassembling parts of a starship. Which, you know, those things together will leave the two of you in a very good situation. Now, so, the plan is going to be very simple. This is something you have all both put together, with barely a word between each other. You are going, the goal is going to be that you are going to escape the room you are in, make your way to the room she is in through the twists and turns of the halls, and she will open the door to the room she is in, letting you in, and the two of you will work together to, get aboard the ship that she expects to be working on and blast your way out utilizing that ship. You know?
Yeah.
So, you go, you get your gruel-like breakfast, you hide the pills in the side of your mouth, planning to spit them out later, and, you two are, you know, sitting around in the leisure area. From across the rooms, you both look to each other, giving a light nod. You know, acknowledging the plan and what you're thinking. And you notice that you are, waiting for when you are expecting to get pulled away. 38 finally finishes the puzzle they've been working on for months, the ring puzzle. Getting the last puzzle to the other side of the last hoop to the other side of the 5 pegs.
Yeah.
A very, very impressive feat. That's something that they've been trying for a while. And just as they are finishing that, 8 8 gets pulled, some doctors come in and take 8 out, and she looks back to you very briefly, but doesn't give any kind of significant sign that the doctors might pick up on. And then she's gone, and you're left lounging around a little bit more until, just as you expected, the doctors come to get you, telling you that, oh, we have some examinations we'd like to do, Barbara. Or not Barbara, sorry. They don't call you Barbara. We have some examinations we'd like to do, 8A, 7A, 7A.
Yes, sir.
And they take you out, and they lead you down the halls and the path that you have down one of the paths you have begun to memorize. You know, you in your head you're trying to
map my footsteps.
Yeah, you're trying to map the environment in your head. Think like, okay, if they're taking me to the room I think they're taking me to, then I'll have to make this turn and go down this hall. You know, running through your head as best as you can. And they bring you into the firing range. And as you go in, you can see that they have a number of guns set up, and it's like a big firing range, you know. It's a big wide room with just a place for you to words. You know what a firing range is like.
I thought the connection had broken or something.
Oh yeah, I was stumbling on my words. It's a firing range. You know what a firing range looks like.
I know the deal.
You go over and you look at the gun that is laid out before you. It's a familiar design, one they've had you utilize before in the past. It's a Trojan Corporation Shadow Energy rifle that is designed with either automatic or non-automatic features. So with the flick of a switch on the side, it can go from you can either fire it one shot at a time with very careful calculated shots, or you can flick it and have it rapid fire a bunch of shots with slightly less accuracy. Specifically, it would fire 1d10 divided by 2 shots. So, you know, I'd roll a d10 and cut that in half, and that's the result, you know?
Okay.
You know that this gun has enough firepower to easily take down any of the turrets and cameras outside, as well as burst through any armor the guards have. You also know enough of this facility to know that none of the guards have any energy shielding. The gun likely has 10 rounds per shot. Or as you examine it, you know it has 10 rounds per shot, so again, you can either single fire or burst fire it. And, it would only take a single turn to cool it down and fully refill the ammo, a single action. So, what do you do as you enter? There's three doctors in the room. They tell you, like, you know, they barely even explain to you what you're doing because they know you know how the firing range works. Downrange is a bunch of little, like, using the same technology that's used to generate force fields. They're generating these sort of pseudo holographic target dummies, things that when you shoot them they will burst and fizzle away, you know. Downrange, there are 10 of them. Some of them stood still, some of them moving around. The intent very clearly being for you to use the single fire mode to take out all of these targets as fast as you can, without needing to stop and reload. What do you do?
I perform the test. Business as usual.
Alright. I'm not gonna even bother doing skill check rolls because it's not really important for it.
This is a flashback. This is literally the first time I've, like, it's like my choice to do something, so I was a little unprepared.
Oh yeah, sorry. You know, you do the test, you fire at it. I'm not gonna bother doing the rolls. We're just gonna say that Barbara kicks ass, easily taking out all of them. And
I assume all the observers are, like, someplace that's, like,
I know there are just 3 doctors stood in the room right behind you.
Okay.
They're in the room. They have zero fear for their safety. They fully expect that, you know, you won't do anything. You fully empty the charge, hitting every single target dead on. They nod approvingly, and one of them goes over to the terminal and starts to set up the next part of the test. One of the doctors saying, like, very good, you can recharge your rifle. Which I assume you do.
Yeah.
And then what will you do? One doctor is to your left, typing at a terminal, setting up a new test. 2 doctors are stood behind you. The door is a little bit off away from you to the right. There's 4 cameras in this room that you can see. Yeah, every camera having a turret on the end of it. You also know enough to know that the cameras and turrets almost definitely aren't an automated system, but there is humans on the other side controlling those turrets in some sort of security room. You've seen enough and done enough small tests to pick up on the fact that that's likely how these work.
Just as the test begins, I will target the cameras and turrets first.
All right. So there are 4 turrets. If you're operating in single fire mode, you can only get off you would only be able to hit 2 turrets on a successful skill check. You know what I mean? With 2 different actions. So it would take 1 action to shoot 1 bolt and hit 1 turret.
Okay.
Now, alternatively, or real quick, I'll say, you can switch to burst action to attempt to hit multiple turrets with a singular action, but the action is performed at disadvantage.
I have a bit of a continuity hiccup thing.
What's up?
Because I didn't get the gunmanship skill until later.
So, for the sake of it, we are just going to have you use your character sheet as is.
Okay.
Just because it is...
At some point, she forgot how to use a gun, and then relearned how to use it.
Yeah, you got rusty and had to be refreshed.
Okay.
Or maybe... yeah, there's a... Anyway, blah, 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 words.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do?
Maybe these guns have aim assist on them.
Oh, this asshole's using auto-aim. Hacks! Aimbot!
Oh yeah, it's almost like there's something unnatural about me.
I mean, you have 2 normal human arms, so...
You said it's a higher skill for precision and...
So, if you utilize the single fire, hitting each camera is a single you would only need to get a single success, but it would take a full action to take out 1 camera. If you switch to burst fire, the action is performed at a disadvantage, but every success you get will take out another camera. And you might fire off more bullets than necessary. So, are you going to attack with single fire or burst?
I'm gonna start with burst.
Alright. So you roll 6 dice. Every 6... there will be disadvantage, so 1 success will be removed, and every success after that will take out 1 camera. Do you wish to spend any star points?
Just 1.
Alright, you spend 1 star point. So... Oops. Hang on, sorry. I'm just taking
Imagine if Barbra dies in the flashback.
I actually have plans for what the connotations of the flashback are if you fail the skill checks.
Oh, good.
I no matter what, I know where this flashback is going.
Okay.
Listen, I'm
really on the edge of my seat.
I had a whole extra week to plan this session because I delayed it on you. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing for once.
Oh.
I love that. Does he?
No, I'm...
So...
No, it's not... Okay.
Prior to star points, you got 2 successes. One of them burst into a failure, so it was still just 2. But you also got a single crashing failure, bringing you down to 1. But then the star point gave you another success, so you've gotten 2 successes, meaning you will take out 2 of the turrets. do you want to spend a star point to automatically take out another turret by removing the crashing failure?
Yes.
Alright, so let me go ahead and remove that star point. So now you're taking out 3 of the 4 turrets. Do you want to spend your last 2 star points on one more die, hopefully allowing you to take out the final turret with a single action?
No.
Alright. So you take out 3 turrets, and hang on, how many shots get fired? Let me roll the burst. 5 divided by 2 rounded down. Although you have to fire a minimum of 3 shots to take out the 3. So you switch it to burst fire mode, and you very quickly sweep your hand and you pull down on the trigger and the burst fire at just the right, while it is on burst fire, you feather the trigger, meaning that you only fire 1 bolt at each of the 3 cameras, hitting your mark perfectly without even looking up. The last camera whizzes to look at you, and you still have a second action. Do you want to fire at it with burst fire mode, or do you want to switch to single fire?
I want to switch to single fire.
Oh wait, I forgot to account for the disadvantage.
That's okay.
The disadvantage means you only take out 2 cameras, not 3.
Oh.
But
does that mean I can take back one of the?
Yeah. In return, I will give you back one of the bolts. You won't get the star point back, but you will get the bolt back. So you can also spend another star point to remove the disadvantage and still take out the 3rd camera for another star point.
No.
Otherwise, without spending the star points, you would have only taken out 1 of the cameras.
What? What about the second one?
Yeah, hang on. So to be clear, I described things poorly. You had gotten 3 successes with 1 crashing failure and a disadvantage, which means your 3 successes would have become 2, or would have become 1. The star point got rid of the crashing failure, bringing you to 2 successes, and you could then spend another star point if you want to remove the disadvantage to make it 3 successes.
Which I did.
Yeah, sorry. So, you know what? I described things badly. I fucked up and forgot. It's not fair of me to then take away your successes because I did the math wrong. So yeah, you took out 3 turrets.
Yay!
I fucked up my maths, and I, as the DM, fucked up. So I'm gonna let you keep the 3rd hit that I fucked up the math on.
I'm still confused as fuck, but I'll take it where I can get it.
So there's 1 camera left. So to quickly describe your options of attacking that one, you can single fire on it, in which case you are rolling 6 dice, and so long as one of those 6 succeed, you will kill it. Or you could roll burst fire. And the way burst fire works is you will roll with disadvantage, right?
Alright.
And so long as you get 1 success, you will hit, and you will fire multiple bolts guaranteed. But, hang on. I gotta describe the mechanics of burst fire on a single target. If you attack multiple enemies with burst fire, it's just, oh, you have the chance to hit multiple targets. But when you attack a single enemy with burst fire, there's a special rule. So let's say you got 0 successes, right? Meaning you miss. But your burst fires 3 shots. That miss means that the first shot missed, and then your success count automatically ticks up by 1 for the second shot in the burst, and then automatically ticks up again for the 3rd shot in the burst. Because you're firing multiple shots at 1 target, you're more likely to hit them, if that makes sense.
That was extremely... I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is one of those things that is easier to understand on paper than verbally described.
It's still, regardless, it still seems like a higher chance of failing than the 6 die, only 1 success needed.
Either way, you only need 1 success. It's just that one of them is provided with a disadvantage, but with the chance of the die magically, or the roll getting better if your burst fire fires high enough. Also, hello, Doodle. Barbra is in a flashback trying to escape a fucked up facility that's testing on her.
What? Hey.
Doodle's in chat.
Anyways.
Burst fire or single fire?
Yeah, I think I'll go with the level 1 success versus rolling on disadvantage. Thank you very much.
All right, so we roll 6 dice. You got 2 successes.
Hey!
So, with a single... so, to describe how that scene plays out, they're said right as they start the next test, they're like, okay, begin automatic fire test. And you switch to automatic fire, and then quickly, without looking away from the target, swing your arm, feathering your finger on the trigger, perfectly firing the shots in automatic mode onto the 3 of the turrets at the 4 corners of the room. And as you swing your arm, you bring up your other hand, hitting the switch to set it to single fire, and then aim down the sights at the last camera. Right as it looks at you, you fire on it, taking it out. Turn ends. The doctors all go into a panic immediately, all running for the door. As an alarm begins to sound. What do you do with your actions?
I run for the doctor closest to the door.
Alright, and what are you gonna do to him?
I'm going to... I'm basically going to tackle him to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And, beat his face in with the end of my rifle.
I'm gonna say these doctors are so unprepared for a fight that you... Actually, I should roll just to see if you critically fail. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You easily tackle this guy to the ground. Are you looking to knock out or to kill?
Kill.
Kill? So, in a single act, if with your just one of your actions, you tackle the the doctor who got closest to the door, knocking him to the ground in front of the door, and you take the gun and you just start bashing his skull in with it. The other doctors panicking and backing away, as you are currently wielding the only gun in the room.
Yeah.
You still have a second action.
And as his face no longer looks like a face anymore, I look up at the other...
Also, I'm giving you a star point for killing the doctor.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize that was an achievement. I look up at the other 2 doctors, and I switch the rifle to automatic.
Alright, and open fire.
Yes.
Rolling 6 dice. Removing 1 success due to disadvantage.
Shit, I forgot about that.
You got 3 bursts because you had 10-9-9. 1 burst is a success. The other 2 are crashing failures, taking out the die that created them.
Yeah.
In the base roll, you also got another crashing failure, taking out another success. But in the end, you still have 2 successes, which is enough to kill the 2 doctors. Your automatic fire, though, because you hold the trigger a little long in your rage, you lose 5 shots. Unloading 5 shots of your gun into the 2 doctors, you gain 2 star points for killing the 2 doctors.
Yeah. And before I leave the room, I look down to the doctor and grab the, sharpest thing that he has on him, which is probably a pen.
Yep. Alright, so your gun has 1 shot left in it. Your turn, the turn ends. Next turn begins. The alarm still blares. Your next turn has started. You have a pen and a gun. What do you do? A gun with 1 shot left in it. It'll take a full action to reload the gun. To cool down the gun, I should say.
I switch the shot to precision.
Alright, that's a free action with this gun.
Okay. And I just focus on heading towards the door to find 7.
Alright. So you go to the door, punch in the code, step out of the room. That's 1 action of your 2. And then you continue down the hall for a moment with your second action. At the end of your turn, you are still in the halls. The alarm is blaring, and you can hear, you hear footsteps, and a number of guards come out either end of the hall you are in, coming out from side halls and stuff. There are 3 guards ahead of you and 2 guards behind you as the next turn begins. They are all armed with stun batons. None of them have any kind of ranged weapon. And they are all going to be running at you in an attempt to tase you. What do you do?
I run towards the one in front of me, and as close as I can get without getting stunned, I shoot him.
It was 3 in front, 2 behind, right? Is what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure I had it right in my head. Sorry, continue, what were you saying?
I get as close to him without, getting stunned, and I shoot him point blank in the face.
Alright. So
and then...
Or go ahead.
Sorry, before the baton even, hits the ground, I catch it in the air with my other non-pen hand.
Wait, there's a gun in one hand and a pen in the other.
Oh, I dropped the gun because that's the last,
Okay, so you're not gonna bother keeping the gun on you and reloading?
I said that. So,
okay.
Yeah, no.
Alright.
Actually, can I throw the gun at one of the ones behind me?
The gun can be recharged and have more shots in it, I should state. The gun is not completely out of ammo. If you keep it, you can keep shooting people.
Yeah, Barbra doesn't.
Alright. So your plan is to run forward and with one action shoot the guard and then grab his baton, and then what do you do as your second action?
Use my other hand to stab another one of the forward guards.
Alright.
Basically in the jugular.
So I'm gonna roll the gun attack first.
With the pen.
I
just imagine this being shot like that hallway scene in Old Boy.
Sorry, I'm just... Okay. So, in your initial roll of 6 dice, you got an 8, a 9, a 10, an 8, and an 8.
Oh my god!
The 10s burst into nothing.
Cool.
But the 9 burst into a 10, which burst into a 10, which burst into a 10, which burst into a 3. Meaning, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes on what was a skill check of difficulty 2. So you run forward, fire the last shot of the gun, blowing his brains out. And I'm going to give you a star point for killing the guard. Or no, sorry, killing guards doesn't give star points, only killing the scientists. So you blow his brains out, and now we're gonna go on and move to the pen attack. I'm gonna, for the fun of it, allow your swordsmanship skill to add to this. So, you got, on your roll, you got a bunch of failing dice, but of the succeeding dice, you got a 6 and a 9, because you're a super soldier, the 9 burst into an 8, but you also got a single crit failure, meaning you got exactly 2 successes, just enough for your attack to land.
Wow, Jesus.
So, you stab him
almost went very badly. Yeah, that went from very good to almost very badly.
You stab him in the jugular and he falls down bleeding, and I'm gonna say because you got the crit success on your gunshot, you get your action refunded to you and can perform a 3rd action this turn. You have a baton in hand, as they are only thing you hold. Or, hang on, I'll give you a choice. Do you want to take a 3rd action, or do you want to say that instead of dropping the gun, you caught the baton with the pen hand now that you lost the pen in a guy's throat?
No.
You would rather drop the gun and grab the baton and make a 3rd attack?
Yeah.
Alright. So, 3rd attack on the final guard. Again, for the fun of this scene, I will allow your swordsmanship to apply to the baton attack.
Thank you.
You know, rule of cool at play. It's a level 2 challenge. Holy shit. So, you got, of your 5 successes, you got 2 failures, a crashing failure, a 7, and a 9. The 9 bursts because you're a super soldier, rolling another 8. Meaning, you got 3 successes with 1 crashing failure, bringing it down to 2. Again, just barely passing and tasing the guard with the taser right in his face, sending him to the ground. That turn ends, and the guards running at you from behind run up, and because you are out of actions, they are actually successfully able to swing their batons at you without any interruption. Because this is the issue, sometimes when you're outnumbered, enemies just get free attacks on you, you know?
Yeah.
They both swing at you. Now, keep in mind, your initial health bar is less of a health bar and more of a luck bar. Also, the armor stat there isn't actually applicable in this flashback scene. So, they swing at you, and you are able to narrowly avoid getting hit by both of their attacks, losing 8 stamina to their swings. Or 8 luck, or whatever you want to call it. I think stamina is the better thing to call it. Or poise if you're a Sekiro fan.
Je ne sais quoi, if you're a douchebag.
You lose 8 je ne sais quoi points. Because technically every player in Shadow Space only has 3 health points, but they got a whole bunch of luck and stamina. Yeah, so you lose 8 of your luck as they swing at you, narrowly avoiding the hits. And the next turn begins. You have 2 actions. You need to keep moving because you can hear there are more guards on the way. These guards are behind the direction you're going in, so you can just run away from them, but they will try and pursue you and attack you more.
I run away from them.
So, you run down the hall. With 1 action, you move further down the hall, and you skid to a stop as you can see that there is another 2 guards ahead of you in the direction you need to go in. You only have 1 action left this turn. What do? You have a stun baton in your hand.
I shove it in the closest guy's in front of me's eye.
The baton? Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, it's turned on.
Alright. Gonna roll attack. You only need 2 successes. We're using the swordsmanship for the fun of it. So, you got, of your 6 dice, a 2, a 4, a 1, 9, 9, 9. The 9s burst
yes.
into 8, 4, 10. The 4 gets removed. The 10 bursts into a 6. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes with 1 crushing failure, 5 successes on a check of 2. That is enough for it to be a critical success. You take out the guard. I am going to refund your action because of the critical. What do you do with your free action you gain from your critical success?
Can I like roll underneath like the other guards like legs
and continue running?
Yeah.
That'll be a basic athletics check of level 2.
Alright.
If you want to spend star points, let me know. I'm just sort of going into the rolls as fast as I can.
Oh shit, I didn't even notice my star points go up.
Yeah, you have 5 star points from all the doctors you killed.
Oh, cool.
So, you got all dice failing except for a 10 and a 1. The 10 burst into a 7, meaning you have 2 successes minus 1 from the crashing failure. If you spend a star point, you pass. Are you going to spend a star point or let him attack you?
I'm going to let him attack me.
Okay. He...
So, don't want to be too much of a Mary Sue, right, Star Wars fans? Am I right?
He tases you and a burning runs through you as you fall to the ground. You have lost 1 health. You feel dazed and dizzy from the stun baton, but as the taser is still in you, you start to stand up. Next turn begins. The 2 guards you had evaded have caught up. There are now 2 guards close behind you and 1 who currently has a taser pressed against you. You have 2 actions. You feel dazed and dizzy, which will make all following actions come with 1 degree of disadvantage. Also, the guards catching up behind you, 1 is running close to you with the taser. The other one holds up the gun that you had dropped, which he has recharged, and he says, "Get on the fucking ground!" Pointing a gun at you. What do you do with your 2 actions?
I want to grab the guard currently tasing me and then just like toss him over my head back at the guard with the gun.
So you're gonna use an athletics check
that was a
to
mouthful.
use him to block the gun shot.
And you know what? I'm going to use 1 star point for this.
All
'cause
right.
I have disadvantage.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be a level 3 check rather than a level words.
It's gonna be a level 3 check, is what
Yeah.
you're saying. All right, that's all I need to know.
You only roll 5 dice on this. You got 7, 9, 9, 9, 1. You spent the star point. Wait, did you spend the star point on an extra die or to remove the disadvantage? Removing the disadvantage is generally speaking the better thing, unless you want to gamble on the chance on the extra die being a crit success. I should have asked this before I gave the results of the roll, but
Yeah. Thank you, Doodle. And no, they didn't kill Barb's dog.
Remove disadvantage or buy an extra die.
Remove disadvantage.
Okay.
Thanks for giving me the chance.
So each of the 9s burst. One of them burst into a 1. The others burst into a 9 and a 10. The 9 and the 10 become an 8 and a 10. So the 10 bursts again, becoming a 2. Meaning you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes, which is going to become 6 successes as a result of the crashing failures, which is enough to be a critical success. So, you grab the guard, throw them back as the other one fires his gun, resulting in him shooting his friend by mistake. But as you throw the guard back, you realize he had the gun in burst fire mode. Meaning, his friend only blocked, I'm gonna say because it was a critical success, he will block half of the shots fired. Oh fuck, I just rolled for the burst. He burst fired 9 of the 10 shots the gun has. 5 of them are blocked, which means 4 are still coming at you, but you still technically have a second action. And there's another guard.
Well, he did tell me to get on the ground, so that's what I do.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a basic dodge check of level 2 difficulty. Rolled at disadvantage because you're still dazed from having been tased.
Yeah, days from the tase.
All 3 of your dice were 9s. Being a super soldier, they all 3 burst. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
So, it blows me away how consistently the laws of statistics are broken the moment you start playing a tabletop campaign.
I feel like it's gonna
The
blow
sheer
me
number
away
of
too.
9s and 10s you got have been statistically improbable. And you know what it just got countered by? Every single one of your 9s just burst into a 1.
Yeah.
Meaning you rolled -1 successes because of your disadvantage.
I somehow get shot 5 times, despite
So-
the fact that there are only 4 bullets.
If you spend 1 star point, it will be a normal failure rather than a critical failure. If you spend 3 star points, then it will be a success and you will avoid all damage. I will tell you right now, if you let it be a critical failure, I will give you 3 star points.
All right,
Because
it's
I can
critical
do something narratively with it.
All right, critical failure. Then.
Okay, so his fire.
Wait. Promote that guy.
You are shocked. You were not expecting it to be in burst fire mode. As a result, you are unprepared as he fires the shots off at you. His friend dies, but the other shots carry right on through and hit your arm, blasting your arm into viscera and chunks that go flying off. Your own blood soaking very heavily into the suit alongside the blood that was already splattered on it from the doctors. You know, your white jumpsuit being covered in blood at this point. You know, when you stabbed the guy in the jugular, it would have sprayed all up over you. So yeah, you have lost your arm as you lost another pip of your 3 pips of health. You have, you are increasingly running out of health.
Wait a minute. Fuck, I can't believe I just remembered this. I had that adrenaline ability.
Oh, that's right. How many doctors have you killed?
3.
You killed, hang on, what is the rules of adrenaline?
Whenever an attack hits you, you gain an adrenaline die.
Oh, that's what it is. I thought it was when you hurt.
Adrenaline boosting attack rolls. When combat ends, you lose all adrenaline.
So you've been hit by you got tased once and shot once, right?
Right.
And you got tased an additional time, I believe. And another time. You've been tased 3 times and shot once.
Have I? I thought it was just the one time.
Well, in description of actions, you only got tased once, because that sounds cooler. In mechanical sense, 4 attacks have landed on you, but your luck stat, your stamina stat, your poise stat, whatever, means that the attacks in lore didn't hit you, but in mechanic did. So you actually have 4 adrenaline right now.
Doodle says twice tased, which is only confusing me further.
So earlier when you were running from the other guard, you remember when you were doing all the stabbing and point-blank shooting? The guards came up behind you, and they mechanically landed 2 attacks, but in lore, the attacks didn't actually touch your body. That is enough for it to count to boost the adrenaline, because they didn't actually bring your poise meter down enough. You then got tased enough to gain an injury, giving you your 3rd adrenaline, and just now getting shot gives you your 4th adrenaline.
Yep.
As you critically failed and your arm gets blasted off. We now have the canon explanation of where Barbra's arm went. Yay!
Hey! Which means that all the other times she described it, she was lying.
Whenever you said a monster ate it, yeah. Well, you said you lost it to a monster.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you could call these people monsters.
Yes, and Barbra is an unreliable
narrator. Yes. You have been drugged up for much of your life.
I think I specifically said a centipede monster, but...
That's how you lost your first robot arm. You lost your human arm to this, and then you got a robot arm, and then a centipede monster ate your first robot arm. That's what happened.
Sure. Yum, yum, yum.
But yeah, next round begins. There's a guard right by you with a taser who's going to try and tase you, and there's the guard with the gun still aiming at you who tells you, "I should get the fuck down." You know you are not far now from 8's position. If you
have to keep going.
Yeah, if you just broke into a full sprint, you should make it to her with your next 2 actions, assuming she's opened the door she had to open. So, you spend 1 action running, you get to the door that should be the room she's in. Why isn't it open? The door isn't open. You have another action. What do you do? You are missing an arm, and you're still holding a stun baton. The door is in front of you, sealed, keypad by its side.
I use the electricity from the taser to like see if I can like
Sure, circuit
overload the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be an engineering check. Woo!
Yay!
Difficulty of 3.
I'll use one of my star points.
Okay.
To get rid of any.
Oh yeah, you have 2 disadvantage, I should say. Difficulty 3, you have 2 disadvantage. Do you want to spend 2 star points removing the disadvantages?
Yes.
Yeah, because you are injured, you are losing blood, you are dazed from getting tased, you are not doing good. So, you rolled a 4, a 10, a 10, a 10, a 1, and a 1. How is it almost all your rolls 10s, 9s, or 1s? Like, again,
I'm cheating.
the moment the moment that a tabletop campaign actually begins, all logic of statistics and probability go out the fucking window. So, let's roll the bursts of the 10s.
And yet, when I'm just trying to fucking haggle for a price, it's like constant 5s.
You got 299 or 299. So the 2 gets removed, and the 9s burst because you're a super soldier. Oh wait, no, this isn't a feat of athleticism, so the 9s won't burst.
Oh.
So you have 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 1, 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remove 2 because of the 1s. Literally just enough to pass. Jesus. You tase the door and it comes open.
My engineering training has taught me to just stab the keypad with something electrical.
As you go in, you run in, and you can see, you are bleeding out. You are dizzy. You are not doing good. And you see the ship that you need to utilize is off to the left. Yeah, no, it's there. It's open. You could run right on, and you look to the right, and you see that there are a group of 5 guards pinning 8 to the ground. And she looks at you, shaking, tears in her eyes. Seven, help! It's 5 guards, all armed with taser batons, have her held down. You can hear the guard with the gun coming down the hall. So your turn's done. New turn begins. 10. The guard who had the taser is coming over. The guard who had the gun is coming over. You can hear a group of from the sound of the footsteps, you estimate to be 7 war guards coming in your direction from down the hall. There are 5 guards on top of her. You are bleeding out. You are dizzy from being tased. And the ship that you can escape on, your way out, is right next to you on the left. Has 2 actions. You could get on that ship, fire at the wall, and fly away, and be totally fine and in the clear. You can escape right now with no opposition. No skill checks needed. Or, you can try and fight the 5 guards piled on top of your friend. With 9 more guards on their way into the room that will arrive next turn, one of whom has a gun. And they've made it clear that while they clearly would like to take you in alive, they are not afraid to kill you. Which, a big part of your guys' plan was a reliance on the fact that you assumed these people wouldn't try and kill you because you've never seen the guards armed with guns. But that gun you dropped, the guard gladly took up and immediately shot you with it. What do you do?
I go for the guards holding down 8.
Are you sure? Attacking the guards, you'd be doing it with 2 disadvantage, and you are vastly outnumbered.
I know.
You're gonna go for it?
Yeah. But like Barbara is in like such a state of rage that she basically just runs towards any one of them and like just starts like biting at their neck.
You begin running at them with the taser in hand. 8 is screaming and crying underneath them, trying to get out from underneath them. So you have 2 actions. When you attack, every 2 successes is 1 guard taken down. You will be rolling 6 dice with 2 disadvantage and dice burst on 9s. You still want to go for the attack with your first action?
Yes.
6 dice. You got 5, 5, 2, 3, 8, 1. That would be -2 successes because of your disadvantage from being injured.
Okay.
So, I will quickly tell you that the -2 or the critical failure or crashing failure. There's a few ways we can proceed from here. Take the roll as it lies. The guards will all begin dogpiling you, tasing you, immediately bringing you down, taking out that last heart pip, like the big red circle, and leaving you to your last health bar of 10 hit points. So, you will be like on death's door, or unconscious's door, depending on how they choose to treat you.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can spend 2 star points to make it a basic level attack, at which point I roll 3d10 and you will take that much damage, which has the potential of having the same result. Alternatively, you could spend not just 2 points, but 3 to get 1 success, resulting in you not getting hurt at all, but you not hurting them. You could also spend all 5 to try and add 1 more die to your roll and hopefully take out at least 1 guard if you roll good.
I think
I will let you spend all 5 star points to change your action and go onto the starship and flee.
I think we both know how this is just going to end with basically her getting captured.
You are not going to try and run away?
You said you had a scenario prepared.
Yes.
For if I failed, right?
Yes, in theory. But something certainly Actually, hang on. I'm gonna bribe you. Because is what would be narratively good.
No.
If you escape the space station, you will immediately gain an extra skill point to spend on any skill you choose.
This is disgusting.
Or you can keep trying to fight them. At which point, we will have another flashback.
I feel like I fucked up your campaign.
No, you didn't. Like I said, I do have plans for if you do this. But, one leads to a more interesting narrative, but also I kind of don't want to force you as a player into doing a thing. So, are you going to stay and help your friend until you get beaten down? Well, I mean, theoretically beaten down. How many star points do you want to spend on helping your friend? Do you want to spend enough where you roll 1 extra die?
No, I'm just going to take the failure.
Alright, so the critical failure or a regular failure?
The critical.
Alright, so they are immediately going to... You run to help her, they immediately start dogpiling you, and you know what? You stuck by your friend. You were a good person, even with me bribing you heavily. So you're going to get 3 star points because you did the very kind-hearted good thing and cared for your friend. You run toward them, dazed and injured, and 3 of them get off her and immediately start tasing at you, trying to like take you down. The guard with the gun bursts in and is stood in the door, stopping, preventing the other guards from getting in. As he sees that you are very clearly getting dogpiled on. And as this happens, 8 is able to shovel the guards on her back off, pushing them off. And she looks at you for a moment. You know, she like kicks one of them off. She is able to get the taser out of their hand and tase the other one on her. And she gets to her feet. And she looks at you, you know, now you basically in the same position she was in. Because you just stopped to try and help her. And she is going to run past the guards and get on the ship. What do you do with your 2 actions? Don't leave me.
Do I still have those 4 adrenalines?
4 adrenalines? Yes, you do.
What can I do with them?
They can be used to add extra dice on an attack roll. 3 guards are dogpiled on you. A 4th one is in a position to join the attack on you, but he's instead going to draw his attention to 8. As the guard with the gun is going to fire on 8. So you only have to worry about the 3 guards on top of you. For every 2 successes on an attack roll, you could take out a guard. Your attacks will be performed at 3 disadvantage because of how injured you are.
Do the guards like have any other weaponry on them other than like stun batons?
Nope, just stun batons. Which you still have a stun baton. It was knocked out of your hand, but it is easily within your reach, the one you dropped. So you can pick it back up and continue using it, even though it fell out of your hand when you were tackled to the ground.
I'm gonna pick it up and use it.
So you're gonna perform an attack roll?
Yeah.
Do you want to spend any star points to remove disadvantage?
Oh, I just thought of something I could have done.
What are you thinking?
It's too late.
No, it's not. It's not too late. I've not told you the results of any roll. Oh, it's something from earlier. Well, what were you thinking? That you could have done.
I could have taken the ship and rather than just getting the hell out of Dodge, just like use the guns to just destroy everything. For
all your star points, I will allow you to back up and do that instead.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, audience.
It's okay. The whole point of star points is they are something that allow players to retcon scenes to make it to do cooler or funner things.
Let's do the time warp again.
I'm going to return that 1 lost health to you, but you have 0 star points now, and actions are still performed at 2 disadvantage. So,
and 1 arm.
Alternative scenario: you instead run aboard the ship you are on. You're on board the starship that is there. Which fun fact, it's a Roach class vessel. You get aboard the Roach class, getting on it, and it, you quickly start to power it up, and your friend, her eye expression begins to drop as she starts to realize, like, oh my god, she's gonna abandon me. As the ship pulls in its landing things, it pulls in its landing gears, the door closes, and then the cannons start to charge, aiming at the wall. And then you turn the ship, and are you gonna fire at the guards on her, or are you gonna fire at the guards coming in through the door?
I'm basically, because I only have 1 hand, it's kind of like the whole ship is just kind of like listing a little bit and just kind of like bumping into things. But I was basically gonna just like rotate the ship towards any of the guards like around the hangar and just like open fire and just like continually do that like while basically spinning around slowly.
All right, so you spin around and begin to fire. I'm gonna go ahead.
All while Barbara's like laughing, like.
So we are rolling 6 dice. You can apply your adrenaline to this to add more, and I will tell you right now, on a critical failure, you will unintentionally kill your friend. If you critically fail.
Oh, that would be tragic.
All right. Well, can't use any star points.
Yep, but you do have your adrenaline, which can be used on this.
Okay. Didn't I use that at all?
Nope, none of it has been used on an attack yet.
Okay.
You have 4 adrenaline.
I'm gonna use my 4 adrenaline.
So that adds 4 dice. So, you get 6, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, and some other dice that were fails that I already removed. So, the 10 and the 9 burst into an 8 and a 6. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes, which becomes 6 due to your disadvantage from being dizzy and woozy and not well. So, the ship spins around, and the group of guards that were coming down the hallway enter the doorway as you open fire with this cannon. Now, I need to be clear. Before you were firing a handheld gun intended for person-on-person combat. This gun is a gun on board a ship, designed for firing at other ships. You are basically shooting these guys with a tank or a laser tank gun. So as they run around the corner and you start firing the shot with the automatic, the semi-automatic, fire style of the ship's gun, they are eviscerated, exploding as you blast a hole through the hallway, killing all of them in just a few seconds. As the ship spins around, it careens over, knocking over all of the guards who are on 8.
Oh, that's lucky.
And the ship sort of flies over and hits the side of the ship, and 8 stands up, and she's like, "Quickly! Blast out the wall before more come!" Pointing at the wall as she's like, the thought process being blast out the wall and then she can get on board. What are you gonna do?
I'm just blasting like all of the walls.
You rotate more and start to fire at the wall. You blast a hole in the wall. You can see the next test chamber over. You fire again. You can see hallway. 8 stood right below your ship, ready to get on board as soon as you open the door. You fire another shot at the end of the hall. And then the vacuum of space kicks in. As you realize you weren't on a terrestrial-based space facility as you thought, but in a space station. And you watch 8 get sucked out into space by the hole you blasted in the wall.
What? It's not fair. No. We were right there. We were so close.
The shock washes over you, and as you try to process it, you can hear the blaring alarm still going, and you know there will be more people coming if you don't get out. And so you fly. And you fly out, seeing that it was a space station. The logo of that company emblazoned on the side of the station. And we crossfade from that logo to the logo on the side of the ship that you are on the hood of. And as you look through the windshield of the ship that you are on, you are shocked. As you see, piloting this ship is a familiar face. Tattooed across their forehead is a serial number. 8A78A8A. Hair raven black. Her eyes not yellow like yours, but a deep amber orange. And instead of a single animal split in the pupil, it is more of a plus shape in her pupils. The skin on her hands, a sickly, scaly-looking appearance. That is the serial number of the friend who they just killed in the flashback. To be clear, Doodle's asking in chat.
Yeah.
So we are now back in the present. You are currently on the front of a Trojan bullet class cruiser. You're on the windshield of it. Oop, wrong thing. As it is flying towards or in the direction of your friend's ship. And you see, your eyes go wide as you recognize who that is. Her forehead now being tattooed with the number you recognize. But she just smiles and goes from having been driving forward towards Trampy's ship to taking a sharp turn upward, you keeping your grip on the front, as she's now flying straight up away from the planet with you on her windshield.
I want to move. I want to hang on with my robotic arm, but I want to use like the grapple thing to kind of
extend down.
Extend down until I'm right near where the engines are without, burning my face off.
Yeah. Well, again, engines don't actually shoot fire. Shit. The engine zone is less of a... So, there is, an engine on the ships, so to speak. An area in the back, but rather than it being a giant rocket shooting fire, it is a large exhaust port that is releasing, how do I want to word it? Not exactly exhaust. Gravitational energy tinted with shadow radiation. If that makes sense. So, rather than emitting fire, it's emitting a very mild level of radioactive energy that immediately disperses, but if you are directly in the engine, will irradiate you with shadow energy, except you are wearing a protective suit that will, if you are only underneath it for the duration of a single turn, it will have no adverse effects on you. Oh, also, I'm gonna go ahead and refill your health, and I'm gonna refill your health, because health is full in the situation you're in.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's right, you have heavy-duty armor on your jumpsuit that's not reflected in your character spray. So yeah, you can safely go inside of the engine without being harmed too badly. But I will say, if you spend too many turns in it, it will begin to sort of microwave you a little bit.
Okay, so I can climb inside the engines?
Yeah, but it is shaped basically like just one large dish. There is no, hole inside of a ship's engine. It's a large sci-fi rigmarole device that is the thing that allows a ship to redirect gravity. If that makes sense.
Can I see, any of, the innards? Any cracks in the plating?
Oh, you want to try and break the engine from the outside is what your plan is, correct?
Yes.
Okay, in this case, your armor piercing will apply, I will say, because you're looking for a precision attack. So yeah, I'm gonna say swinging down on your extending arm is going to be a free-ish action. Yeah, it's gonna be a free action. So as you extend down and you're hanging by the rope, the rope is just barely long enough to get you to the back end of this long ship. Because this ship is like about the size of 3 cars if you put them like nose to bumper. Like 3 average-sized cars nose to bumper.
Yeah.
You go back towards the large dish that is sat on the back, and so your swordsmanship skill and engineering and your super soldier trait will all benefit this roll. There's no disadvantage because you are injured, and keep in mind you're able to use your hunger and well-restedness. You couldn't use them in the flashback because they didn't actually apply because you didn't sleep well or eat well, but now you can use them. That's why I wasn't bringing them up previously. You can choose to use them to add extra dice to this roll, and I'm gonna say, if if I'm correct, you want to just disarm the engine to make the ship crash, correct?
Yeah, or at least to, yeah. Stop going up. Yep,
and
looks like we're gonna crash, yeah.
You know this ship well enough that...
I don't think there's any, there's no beating around the bush.
You know these ships well enough with your engineering skill and your background history that if you disarmed this ship in this way and let it crash, she could easily survive the crash inside. These things are built for combat. They are built to be able to crash safely, to be able to take a blaster fire. What they're not built for is somebody climbing around the outside with a fine blade going at the pieces of the machinery and being able to go using a physical blade, not a plasma blade, ignore the energy shield that the ship has. You are basically perfectly equipped you are hitting this ship in its Achilles heel. This ship is not designed to have a person on its exterior attacking it. It is designed to be able to survive having other ships shoot at it from a distance with their plasma weaponry.
Okay.
I say
right,
plasma. Plasma is a misnomer. It's shadow energy, which is a generic nondescript sci-fi... well, a dark matter gun. It's a nondescript sci-fi energy type that has no real-life comparison. That way science nerds can't say, actually, that's not how this gun would work. That's the fun thing of using shadow energy.
Does dark matter not exist in
Dark
reality?
matter is highly theoretical, and we know literally nothing about dark matter, which really means it's a perfect thing. Like, so, in real life, what dark matter is space is expanding, and we don't know why. And when by all of our calculations, there is clearly some extra, not understood matter that exists in our reality that we have never been able to observe or understand, which is what is causing space to expand in resistance to gravity. And because we know fucking nothing about dark matter, that is sci-fi writer code for do what you want. So in my case, it's a weird reality-bending energy that seeps in from another reality, from an adjacent dimension. But yeah, so anyway, the shadow energy, like the shadow energy shield, you can easily penetrate it with your physical sword. I'm gonna say, to bring down this ship in a single action, right, would take 10 successes. But you have 2 actions, and basically the idea is you need to deal 10 successes of damage to this dish to bring the ship down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that is cumulative. You can do this over the course of multiple actions and multiple turns.
Okay, good, because I don't have...
At the rate she is flying, she will likely escape atmosphere in 3 turns. Meaning you have 6 actions to bring this ship down, if she doesn't do anything other than fly straight up.
Good, because I have no stars and no adrenaline.
But you do have well-rested and well-fed. So, first attack. Do you want to spend well-rested and well-fed on extra dice? Hang on, let's real quick figure out. You're rolling...
I'm just gonna...
You roll 5 dice, +1 from swordsmanship, +1 from engineering, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mundo.
So yeah, do you want to spell well fed and run well rested on 2 extra dice?
Not right now.
So on your first attack action, you got 9, 6, 6, 2, 3, 5, 1. 2, 3, and 5 are removed. 9 bursts because you're a super soldier. It bursts into a 4, which does nothing. The 1 removes one of the 6s. You got 2 of your 10 required successes. That was with your first action. I'm gonna quickly, just to denote how many successes you need to get. Give me a second. Boop, 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 boop. Let's just go with, like, 4. Oops.
By the way, thank you for not just ending the session on the reveal.
Oh, yeah, no. I want this to fully play out as it's supposed to. So, 2... 4... 5... You need to get 10. And you have already gotten... 2 of them out. Boom, boom. As you begin to attack the dish and fuck it up.
You can even eat the dishes. Delicious.
Fun fact, in the Charlie that's from Charlie and Chocolate Factory, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. It's been a while.
Oh, that was a fun fact. Sorry.
I'm sorry. The fun fact, the little teacup that he's drinking from and eats when they're in the room where everything is edible, they actually did have to make a bunch of random items edible so that actors could eat them. And they made sure to let every actor know everything in the room that was in fact able to be eaten. So everything the kids are eating are actually candy and food. And inside of that cup was in fact water that he drank. But you know what wasn't an edible thing?
The cup?
The beeswax cup that he ate. I mean, it's technically edible. It didn't taste good. And when he took the bite of it, everybody was astounded, but they were like, that's genius. That makes sense, and it hammers the scene home. But the director was like, let's wait as long as we can without calling cut until he has to spit it out.
And he has
to, he actually kept that in his mouth and kept chewing for well past where that scene ended, because that's at the very end of the song that he took the bite out of it. That's
Gene Wilder puts the gene in genius.
He's such a good actor. Anyway, I just thought that was a funny little tangent.
That was funny.
So, you've gotten 2 of your successes. You have another action. I assume you're just going to attack again?
Yep.
So you roll 7 dice by default. Do you want to add 2 more from the well-fed and well-rested?
Can I add one of them from one of those?
Yes, you can add just 1.
Yep.
Which one are you using? Well-fed or well-rested?
Well-fed.
Alright. So, we have rolled 6, 5, 8, 5, 2, 8, 1, 6. So, remove the 5, remove the 5, remove the 2. The 1 kills the 6, leaving you with 3 successes.
That's good.
Boop, boop, boop. And I mentioned you have 3 turns before she reaches the atmosphere, so I'm just going to go ahead and denote that with...
So I have to get 5
Oh yeah,
successes.
she is in a black jumpsuit, I should mention. So, the first of your turn passes. She's getting ever higher. Yeah, she's higher in the air. You have, it is the next turn. She's going to begin to try and shake you off. So, you could try and, in your 2 actions, finish taking down the ship, and if you do, you don't need to worry about her trying to shake you off, because you've made the ship start crashing anyway. Or, you can try and use 1 action to pass a level 3 check to not fall. And then you would only have one action to continue attacking. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna spend 1 to hold on.
Or use one action to try and hold on?
Yeah.
So that is just gonna use your bear athletics, adding in an extra die for the robot arm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rolling 6 dice. Of the 6, you need 3 successes. Do you want to use your well-rested on this, or no?
No.
So you got 4, 10, 9, 6, 6, 7. The 9 and the 10 each grants an extra die. You got 10, 10. The 2 10s each grants an extra die. 7, 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes on a level 3 check. That isn't just a critical success. That is a critical success of the 2nd degree. You got 3 times what you needed. So, I'm gonna say, not only did you do that without spending the action, you gain an extra action, so you have 3 actions this turn.
Okay, I'm gonna spend the other 2 just attacking the engine.
So, well, the first of your 3 actions that you currently have on attacking, rolling 7 dice. Do you want to use your well-rested?
Nope.
You got a bunch of failures that I removed just now, and then you're left with 8, 9, and a 1. The 9 bursts into a 6, so that's 3 successes, minus 1 from the crash, meaning you got 2 successes. Boom, boom. It has 3 hit points left. You have 2 more actions. Are you going to attack it again?
Yes.
You attack it again. 8, 8, 3, 5, 5, 10, 4. Remove the 3, remove the 5, remove the 5, remove the 4. The 10 bursts. It bursts into a 10, so it bursts again. It got a 6, so you got 5 successes when you only needed 3 to take it down. So, you finish taking the ship out, and now it has no... So, it flies up. You break the dish enough that it's like it's separated from the inner mechanisms. So the big massive dish is still on the bottom of the ship, but it's not functioning anymore. And you can feel like you are starting to warm up from being too close. I was gonna say, if one more turn, you are gonna start taking damage from being microwaved.
Yeah.
But you broke it fast enough that that's not an issue. You feel like the momentum carries it for a moment, and it's starting to slow down in its ascent upward. And what's nice,
I stopped the ship. Oh.
Well, here's the really fun thing. I mentioned this whole ship is shaped like a bullet. That bullet is currently facing up. What will happen when that bullet starts to fall down? It will, due to the conical shape of the tip, will flip and begin falling nose first. Meaning, while you are currently clinging to the bottom, dangling, in a moment it will flip over, and you will be on what will be the new top of the ship as it falls towards the planet. Sorry, go ahead. You were saying, yes, I disarmed the ship. What were you saying? Sorry, I cut you off.
It's like, yes, yes, the ship is going down. Oh. The ship is going down.
You get a star point for that. Alright, what are you going to do?
Hold on for dear life and pray to science.
I will say, as you look, you realize, T-Dog's ship, so this ship started flying straight up. T-Dog's ship was more or less continuing to fly forward. He's pretty far away, but you're pretty high in the air, but he's also still flying away from you. You could, theoretically, try to land on him. So, remember how the check we were just doing was working? You need a cumulative 10 successes. And you only have... Now, if you had flown higher, you would have actually had more turns to attempt this. But because you disarmed the ship so fast, you only have 2 turns to try and get a cumulative 10 checks if you want to try and land back on the truck Trampy is on. Or you could ride this down to the surface, and if you try and ride this to the surface, you could try and cling to it in such a way that you let the ship take the brunt of the damage, in which case you can perform a skill check. Where for every if you get 0 successes on the skill check, you will fall unconscious on impact. If you critically fail, you will become hospitalized on contact. Basically be in a near-death state, and unless somebody comes to your rescue, you will just die in the wilderness. And you don't know if the person who was just piloting this ship, you know, if 8 will try and save you or not. But or if Trampy will come to save you, or if anyone will come to save you. So crit fail, you will be in a dying state. Regular fail, you will fall unconscious. And 1 success, you will survive with 0 pips of health. But a full luck bar. 2 successes, you'll have 1 pip of health. 3 successes, 2 pips of health. 4 successes, full health, no damage, you know? So you can either try and brace for impact and ride the ship down, or you can attempt a 2-turn cycle to try and get 10 successes of basically pure athleticism to try and land back on Trampy's ship.
Doodle just wrote, "Can't believe Barbra is entering her skydiving career." If I did that, I do have Jack of all trades, so that could just be a skill that Barbra picks up for the rest of the campaign.
So,
but
are we gonna try and ride this ship down and brace for impact, or leap to get back with Trampy? Keep in mind, Trampy does not know how to fly or land the ship he is on.
Oh, fuck. Barbra is about to jump, but then she stops and looks back.
You could also try
and realizes...
You could also try and get aboard this ship.
Yeah, she realizes that she might, like, this is the 1 second chance she's ever gotten, and that she might not get a 3rd to save her friend.
This ship will hit the ground in 3 turns.
Well, I better start cutting then.
So you're gonna, like, use your first action to find the door and cut your way in?
Yes.
It is going to be a level 1 success needed to cut your way in when you find the door.
Okay.
Engineering and swordsmanship both apply. Super soldier traits benefit this. Actually, level 2. It would be level 2, not level 1.
Damn it.
Are you going to use your well-rested to cut your way in?
I think I'm going to need that for later.
Yeah, or the star die, but neither.
Yeah.
Alright, 5, 6, 10, 9, 9, 10, 8.
Oh, thank God.
5 gets removed. 10, 10, 9, 9, all burst. And they burst into 1, 2, 1, 8.
Shit.
The 2 gets removed. The 1 is going to kill 1 success. The 1 is going to kill 1 success. You got 5 successes. You recoil...
Which is doubled.
What?
Which, I mean, if it's a 2, that means that was like a critical success, right?
Oh, you're right. That is a critical success. So, I will refund the action is what that's going to mean. So this is still... So, you coil up your rope a little bit. You run along the side of the ship with your hands still holding on to the nose cone at the tip. You run around, find the door, switch to your plasma blade, cut into the door, you cut into it and you force it open, and you are now in the airlock of the ship. You realize that once you open the airlock fully, you will be exposing the interior of this ship to the radiation of the planet. Also, by disarming that dish, you have fully disarmed the artificial gravity. But as you go inside, the ship finally begins to turn, and now you are sort of... You know when you're in a plane that is, like, hit that point where it's like you're in 0 G because of how it's falling?
Yeah.
That's the state you are in currently as you recoil your hand back in and enter the airlock.
My ears start popping and things start to like float a little bit.
Are you going to cut your way in, exposing the rest of the ship's interior to the radiation of the planet?
I mean, it's the only way I can get in.
Alright, this is going to be another level 2 check. 7 dice being rolled. I removed some generic failures, leaving you with 10, 8, 6, 1. The 10 bursts. 8. You got 3 successes on a level 2 check. You cut open the door. So those are your 2 actions of this first turn. So, turn 1 of your descent passes. If you want to try and get to Trampy, you will have less time to do it now. You begin to descend down. Or I'm sorry, you go in, the ship is descending, still in a free fall state, leaving you in 0G. As soon as you open that door, 8, with the 0G positioning, has kicked herself off of a wall and is flying at you. You know, like...
Wait, you kind of cut out a little bit. Kicked the what?
She kicked herself off a doorway that she was going through as soon as she saw you entering, and is flying toward you in the free fall inside of the ship. And she is seemingly trying to tackle you back into the airlock. She has what you realize is a short energy dagger in her hand. It's one of the, you know those daggers where it's a single handle with one blade on each end? It's like that.
So like a double-edged...
Yeah, a double-edged knife, one coming out either end. So she's flying towards you in the free fall with that in her hand, trying to tackle you into the wall. She is not a goon class enemy like the other enemies, so fighting her works a little bit different in that just like you get 2 actions per turn, she gets 2 actions per turn. She is going to, with her first action, attempt to tackle you into the wall, and the second action, attempt to attack you with the knife. If you successfully dodge her first action, her first initial tackle, she will attempt to tackle you a second time. What are you gonna do with your first action of this turn?
Well, isn't there only one thing I can do?
No.
I guess I could block it.
You could block it, you could dodge it, you could just attack her with your sword. You know, counterattack.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, like, disarm her.
You're gonna try to disarm. I'm gonna say, because disarming is a difficult thing to achieve, it will be performed at 1 disadvantage if you attempt that. Because generally disarming actions I put at disadvantage because I want to make it hard to disarm people.
Okay,
she
in
is,
that case...
she is also a very skilled person, so attempting to disarm her would be a level 4 check. You would be allowed to use your robotic hand or sword in doing it, so you would roll 6 dice in your attempt to disarm and need to get 4 successes with those 6. If that's what you choose to do.
Alright, well, I've changed my mind and I've decided to dodge.
You're going to dodge. Still a level 4 challenge, but no disadvantage applied to it.
Okay.
Do you want to add either your star point or your well-rested die?
Well rested.
A thing I was forgetting earlier that I should just put on a sticky note and stick to my computer screen, because it's a rule in my own system I always forget. Purely defensive actions are performed with an advantage. So you're rolling an advantage die. So you're rolling 6 dice before you add anything, and you say you wanted to add your well-rested?
Mm-hmm.
So let me add that. So you got 7, 8, 9, 7, 7, 5 on the advantage die, and a 10 from your well-rested die. So you got 2 bursts in that. The 2 bursts are a 10 and a 4. I'm going to remove the 4 because it's meaningless, and then burst that additional 10, and a 6. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes on a level 4 check. you critically dodge. So, I will allow you to do two things. You can either have that have been a free action, meaning you still have 2 actions, or I will allow you to upgrade the dodge into the disarm you were thinking of doing earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna disarm.
Alright, you disarm her. First action of 2 used. She had gone to tackle you, and instead you sort of lock arms with her, knocking the knife out of her hand. The 2 of you are now sort of locked arms, spinning in the free fall still. You have a second action, she has a second action. Now that she's disarmed, she's going to change what she's doing. She's gonna look at you. She looks at you, tears welling in her, or no, no tears welling in her eyes. Rage, a look of rage and like distress in her face as she says, 7! And she's going to try and headbutt you as hard as she can. What do you do with your second action? Keep in mind, this is the ship is still in free fall, and neither of you have entered a safe state in the ship where you will survive, or you won't guaranteeably die when it crashes, but you are not in a good position if this ship crashes, with how 2 of you are positioned currently. It's hard to say what will happen. Like, if you were strapped safely in the seats that are in the next room, the ship is designed in a way that the ship will sort of crumple and make it not so bad. So you will need to get into a seat and strapped to land safely. Otherwise, you may take serious damage on the crash, potentially going into a coma. I don't want to say die because I don't want to make it hard for players to die. What are you gonna say?
How many turns do we have left till it hits the ground?
When this turn passes, you will have fallen too far to be able to try and get to Trampy. So you need to start trying to get to Trampy right now if you want to make it to him. Alternatively, you have the rest of this turn plus 1 more turn before the ship hits the ground.
I want to try and launch us towards the, like, while our arms are still locked, I want to try and launch us towards the,
exit?
The opening that I created.
Okay. I'm going to say that you don't even need to roll to do that. But she is... Ooh, hang on. What is that message I got on Discord? She's just basically gonna get a free attack on you, you know?
I am wearing a helmet, though.
The helmet is a energy helmet designed to block vacuum of space stuff. A blunt force attack still goes right through that, because of the type of energy field it is.
I could have survived if I stayed on the ship. Oop.
What?
Nothing.
Sorry, I didn't understand everything.
I would have still survived if the ship kept going up into space.
She critically failed on her attack, so she does not hurt you at all.
She somehow headbutts herself.
She's just sort of like thrashing in your grasp as the 2 of you go flying out of her ship. So, as you go flying out, you realize you have fallen below Trampy's ship. So, you have one last hope of if you wanted to get on Trampy's ship. You can grapple to his ship with your grappling hand, and it will require a level 5 success to successfully grab his ship.
Well, that's really all I can do.
So you roll 6 dice on that check. Do you want to add anything to it?
My last remaining star, and if I have any adrenaline from the fight.
You do not. You also have the well-rested bonus.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, so you can still use that.
Yeah, throw that on, throw that. I thought I already used that.
No, you used the well-fed.
Yeah, I thought I used both.
No, you said you used one of the 2 earlier. When I asked you, said, can I use one of them? And I said yes. And he's like, all right, then I'll use one of them.
I know. I thought I used well rested to like dodge.
No, you used the well fed on that.
No, I thought I used well fed to cut into the ship. You know what? Fuck it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, you only used one of the two things. So we
I'm
got
just that well rested.
4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 1. The 9. So right now you have 4 successes because of the 1. But the 9 can burst. So I'm about to roll a die, and you have a 50-50 shot of grabbing the ship successfully. Eight. You reach your hand up, firing the grappling hook. It soars through the air towards the ship, as you are still holding on to 8.
Yeah, with my arms and with my arm and my legs.
She still has her face contorted in what would be described as an anguished expression. As you fire the grappling hook out, and it hits the end of its length just barely as it grabs the back of the tail end of the cryopods being carried. You feel your hand grab on, and then you jerk for a moment, and then you grabbed onto the handle of one of the slide out cryopod things, so it slides out a little bit, sending you a couple more feet back. Yeah, because the thing is now hanging out.
And I imagined that it's going so fast that like my robotic arm is almost like
is nearly
this
hurts like a
pulled
bitch.
out of my socket.
You basically just grabbed onto a moving truck on the highway. Like it does not feel good. And you guys are trailing behind it, and she looks at you with like this angered expression, but she clearly understands, if I try and do something to this person, I'm gonna die too, so she's not doing anything.
I mean, she might die from radiation.
Oh, sorry. She had time to put on a helmet as well.
Oh, okay, never mind. Hooray!
Her helmet is of a better design than yours. The best way I can describe her helmets, have you seen... What is the prototype, or the prequel, I mean, to Alien? Prometheus? Prometheus. It looks like the
Alien Covenant.
No, before that one. It looks like the helmets from Prometheus.
The ones that they take off every chance they get?
Yeah.
Oh.
It looks kind of like that, but a little bit more tight-fitting around her head. But so, like, you know, it's like a protective casing around her whole head, and then a glass front, you know? A green-tinted glass on the front of it with, like, lights in it. You coil your hand in, with, you know, now closer to the pod, and she is going to reach and try and grab onto the cryopod. Are you going to stop her? Or let her grab onto it?
I'm going to let her grab onto it.
As soon as she grabs onto it, she's going to start trying to kick you.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Trying to kick you so that you will lose your grip and fall off.
Can we just talk?
Are you gonna say that?
Yes.
So I'm gonna call this the start of a new turn. You have 2 actions. Are you attempting a charm check?
Yeah. I mean, after all, I did just save her fucking life.
Alright. Charm check. I'm going to call this a level 5 difficulty. Do you have any dice that benefit it? Also, I gotta remove your star point in health.
Attractive. I mean, I'm not flirting with her, but...
It will add a die. Or will it? You don't know. You don't know if she's into you or not. You got one success.
Well, you didn't ask about it, so.
You got one success.
Hmm.
So as you say, can't we just talk? She, like... she kicks you in, like, the chest. So I'm gonna say you need to perform a level 3 check to keep your grip right now.
Fuck.
You're rolling 6 dice on it. I'm just going through it as fast as I can because you have nothing you can add to it. You got 3 bursts on that roll and 1 crash. So you got a total of 5 successes in the end. So you successfully keep your grip as she's trying to kick you off. And next turn begins. She's gonna start trying to climb up the cargo pod towards the ship. Seemingly trying to get to the ship before you can get to the ship. What are you gonna do? You got 2 actions. Getting from...
Gosh.
So, you could crawl up the entire side of the cargo pod with 1 action and then get aboard the ship with a 2nd action. Whether or not you do it faster than her will be based off of an athletics check.
Yeah, I will try to catch up with her.
Do you want to try and get ahead of her or just keep pace?
Get ahead of her.
There's a burst in there because of it being 9, which that burst gives you just enough to successfully scale up and, like, you get up to the ship and into it right before she can. I'm gonna tell you right now, if she had failed that, she would have gotten to the top of the cryopods and begun trying to detach the entire cargo container.
Oh, fuck.
In an attempt to make you fall with it. But because you moved faster than her, she is not doing that. You get into the ship's very tiny airlock, closing it behind... Do you close it behind you? Or do you leave it open so she can get in with you? Now, you know her. You know she's in the same project as you. Undoubtedly, she could cling to this ship for the entirety of your flight if you wanted to. Also, you see her ship crash in the distance. Hitting the side of the mountain.
Cool. I just like to imagine at some point during when we cut back to the other players, they're just going to like be minding their own business and they just hear boom.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, that's weird. Anyways, before I get in, I'm going to shoot my arm out towards her and like grab her and then try and reel her in.
You reel her into the airlock. I know she.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use my second action to
close
to
the airlock
contact...
and open the interior?
Well, to contact. Use my comm thing to warn T-Dog. Yeah, it's in my inventory.
Yeah. What do you want to say to him?
I said, "Get ready, T-Dog. We're about to have company."
Good company or bad? I'm guessing bad.
Look, just be ready. I might need you to knock her out.
So
no lethal force.
So you reel her in. As you do, she has this look of like contorted anger, and as soon as you have her in, you hit the button to swap the airlock doors. You know, the one in front of you closing, and she like grips you and is like getting ready to tussle, and then as soon as the other airlock door opens and you both stumble in, T-Dog grabs her in a bear hug and is holding her.
Okay.
And she's squirming, and you can feel this ship is beginning to enter a nosedive with no one holding the controls.
Keep her there, T-Dog, and I rush for the pilot seat.
Yeah, and quickly get in, and now you start to correct the flight. And she is kicking and, like, thrashing in T-Dog's grasp. And you look at your friend, you know, like, why the hell is your friend behaving this way? And, you know,
And how is she alive?
yeah, how is she alive? Why is she behaving this way? Why does she look different? Why is her forehead tattooed with her serial number? And
What's wrong with her face?
we will begin addressing all of that after this
Next time!
flashback.
Oh.
As we cut back to you inside of a scout facility, the Space Scouts. You know, you've had a bit of time to learn how this works, and you know that if you don't join a corporation of some group or a coalition of some kind, you will not be lasting long out here. And you've weighed your options, and the Space Scouts sound like your best option. Freedom of of action, you know, you are given legal protection by them. Like, everything is good. You just need to forge a new identity for yourself. And, you know, you are stood there looking at the paperwork, thinking, and you briefly look at the armband that you had cut off previously. A very, very rudimentary robotic skeletal arm on your left hand, or on your right shoulder. You know, your right arm having been replaced. You look at the armband, or the new armband, or the armband with your old serial code for a moment. 8A78A8A. Barbra. You write down your new name, your new identity. And that is where we end the session. So yeah, I said it might be more than one session before you reunite with your allies.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized, I never realized Doodle joined the call. Discord never made the sound effect.
Seriously? I heard.
Because I'm in streamer mode, I can't hear sound effects.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think that went well.
I think it did too.
Thank
you.
So yeah, next time we will give you a moment to speak with your friend. And you will also arrive at the mountain where Darwin is. I hope everybody. Hang on. I hope everybody has. Hang on. Shoot. Fuck. Hang on. Put away the UI. Put away that.
I hope everybody has shoot fuck.
What?
That's what you said.
Fuck. That.
I'm giving you a star for that.
I was about to say, I would give you a star point if we weren't at the end of session, damn it.
Oh well. I can stop being funny now.
Are you sure you're capable of that?
I am, believe it or not. Thank you though.
Press X to doubt.
Make out with your friend.
Press X to make out with your friend. Brother, I'm always
Doodle's comments.
I'm mashing
you have
X.
to, I won't stop you from drawing that, Doodle. Just saying.
Why is it?
I might even pay you for it.
Hold on. No, the thing messed up. No, hang on. Technical difficulties. There we go. I hope everybody's enjoyed this episode of Shadow Space. The next episode will be focused on what the rest of the group has been doing.
Woo!
Time to draw Ollie pregnant with Shadow Space, baby. Oh no. Oh no, not M-Preg. Oh, that'd be so bad.
Did Shadow Space fuck Ollie-Rick? I guess in a way.
But yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed that session. Next one will focus on the other group and what they were doing during all of this. Yeah.
And see who the spaceship landed on.
And Like I said, the next episode will be coming in just 2 weeks, so be sure to check that out. Hope you have all been enjoying.
Somebody wants to ask me a question.
Want to ask? Want to build her a house inspire? Oh my! You know what? That can be talked about off stream. You're gonna get a house built for you in house.
No, it's not okay. No, I'm just kidding. You can do it. If I said it wasn't okay, would that keep you from doing it?
I mean, I kind of want to go get dinner. So.
Okay, all right.
I hope you've all been enjoying this episode. End cards will be appearing in a moment. Love all you very, very, very much. And ta-ta for now.
Bye.